you on Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we're meandering through the wilderness with the villain. Let's go.
We may live up to our hype on this one. This is literally going to be a podcast about one of the worst movies ever.
Oh.
You don't want to watch it twice?
No. Thanks for asking me yesterday.
It's been a while since I've gotten an all caps, what the hell was that text from you? And I used to get them a lot.
That's fantastic.
The only thing through my mind when I was watching this, because I haven't seen it since I was like maybe 13 or 14, and I've been telling James I liked this movie.
You have.
And the only thing in my mind was, what the hell even is that? From the Daddy Chill.
Yes. Daddy Chill. I blame you for this 100%. I feel like you championed this movie, but I'm happy you did because I thought this movie was fantastic. Let's do final ratings at the beginning. This is what we're doing.
Let's do it.
Plant your flags.
Terrible movie.
All right. Well, let's.
A lot of fun.
All right.
This is a terrible movie that's fun.
Actually, I take it back. Make up your mind at the end. Okay.
You
Wait till the
hustled
end.
me. You hustled the shit out of me there. How
We had a
dare
bet.
you, sir?
That's right.
We
I
won.
bet I'll do it.
That's all
Watch
good.
this. I can get him to do it at the beginning.
Got him.
Guys, thank you for listening. Here we are, Bad Movies Rule. If you've never listened before, we're going to go through this movie scene by scene. We are going to eventually, at the end, give some awards and then give our final ratings, generally how it works. Okay, you tuned in, if this is your first time, to the first episode ever. We gave it at the beginning. So you know what? It's okay to throw monkey wrenches in the works sometimes. It makes for fun, right? It's always a monkey wrench when we've got the dirt farmer Clint Bush in the house. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Just hanging out.
Yeah?
Watching terrible movies.
It's
talking
Monday,
about it.
so no dirt
To
to
stay
farm
sane.
because
Yeah,
it's your
no.
day off.
It's my day off, yeah.
So that's pretty nice.
Spend it with y'alls.
Yeah.
Did you have a day off today, Nicole?
No, I was working with the children's. I work at a school and then I also act and I do auditions. There was no auditioning today.
I just realized as soon as that left my mouth, I have no idea what you do. We've known
There's
each other a
lot
long
of
time. I have no
Chemistry
idea.
and flux capacitors involved
Well, I know,
in my day.
I know the improv stuff because you teach it also and do it.
Yes.
And then you also obviously are an actress and you do. I just saw you just did a film, right? You were promoting one. I saw like you were a piece of a.
It's called Gaia.
Thank you.
It's about an MMA fighter, a lady one.
A lady MMA fighter.
Yes, I am not
That is you.
her. Nope.
No. Okay.
But I could be if you want to cast me in a different one.
Okay.
She also does self-defense classes.
Well,
I've heard.
yes.
True.
It's a real funny.
But I didn't know about the day job. So working with kids, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Yep.
fun. Speaking of working with kids, Ryan Madela is in the house today.
Hey.
I only say that because of your youth, not, because you're like a child.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes.
But also
I am.
because
But not as much. I mean, honestly, Clint acts more like a child often than you do.
That's
so
fair.
this is a great mix, guys. I'm loving
What a blend.
already. What a blend. I'm excited to do this, The Villain, 1979, because we're checking off another Arnie flick. Obviously, we've become well associated with the man since we talk about him in every single episode. It's only natural that we're going to eventually work our way through his entire filmography.
Have to.
we had to hit this one eventually, right?
Yeah. And this is appearance number 7 for Arnold
Wow.
Yeah.
on our show. That's just BMR. I think, I don't remember if we did one on GMR, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get through them all.
Mountain-wise, though.
Mountain-wise, we got lots to
We'll
work
see.
with today.
We did do Predator.
We'll see. We did Predator today, our first episode on
to be.
GMR. That's right. I forgot. All right, let's get straight into the vitals so we know all what we're talking about here. Movie was directed by another BMR alum here, Hal Needham, who directed Rad and Megaforce.
Oh.
Made this
Fantastic
movie.
stuff.
Yeah. So usually, what do you?
We'll
let
talk
me
about
try
it.
and form a sentence. You love Rad,
I do love Rad. One of my favorites.
and I
from
know
my
you're
childhood.
a closet Megaforce fan.
True. I mean, it's a big closet. Doors open.
Yeah.
I'm still in there.
So I thought
Waving.
Hal Needham, Clint's going to be all over this one. Written by Robert G. Kane, who only ever wrote one other. It was a Fred McMurray movie called Kisses for My President, where he was the first lady and his wife was the president. It was like some movie from the 50s. And then this movie out of nowhere. Movie starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kirk Douglas, Spartacus himself, Ann-Margret, along with a bunch of other people that when you watch a movie, you go, hey, where?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where, but it's somewhere.
The
right?
damsel in distress.
Yeah.
For me. I was
Oh,
like, whoa.
Buzzy,
Yep.
Ruth Buzzy,
Yep.
who I didn't know until afterwards, and I looked up the cast and I was, oh yeah.
I always think of her from Newsies. Because she plays like some...
One of the Newsies.
No, she's... really confused as a boy, watching this. I'm like, man,
All
is he cute.
for
Wait.
one and Ruth.
And Ruth.
All for one and one for Ruth. Here we go. The budget for this movie was $5 million. And the box office was $10 million.
$5 million?
On what? Wagon wheels that kept falling off? I mean, where's the budget spent on this?
It wasn't on that one rock that they used twice. That's for sure.
It was on the horse whiskey.
No, that
Dude,
was...
the horse training
high
was
talent.
huge budget.
What's the stuff you wrap around tomato plants so they don't escape?
Tinfoil.
No, like the metal, like the chicken wire. Is that what? Yeah.
Sure.
It was chicken wire and newspaper, I think, is what that was made out of, and glue.
Yep.
And that's the boulder. So, okay,
Paper
the boulder
mache.
cost
Paper mache.
$7.50. Okay. Where the hell did $5 million go in this movie?
And Arnold this is 79.
No, Arnold made $10.
I did see that Bob Mackey did all of the costuming for Ann-Margret, so maybe he
that's
took a little
lot.
chunk.
Got it.
It might have been on the Native Americans.
Oh,
Apologizing to them after?
definitely- Yes, well, that portion of the
They
show
were
will be later on. They're authentically people.
Yes.
Yeah. 5.3 on IMDb for this masterpiece.
That's high.
It's will you guys stop it? It's low. Imagine what this would have been. Things had gone differently. 5.3 on IMDb. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I didn't say a word.
I know. It's a preemptive shush. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
That's accurate, actually. It's like 4,700 reviews.
Further
0%.
Further evidence that these people don't have a clue what they're talking about, these critics. And 38% audience score. So,
Who knows?
who knows? The math checks out. There's enough people in here to see one of us likes it. I don't know. Had any of you, I know you'd seen it when you were a kid. Had either of you, Nicole or Clint?
Didn't
No.
know it existed.
Yeah, I
Didn't
had
know.
no idea this was even out there.
Okay. Well, me neither. This was the first time and there's very few Arnold movies I haven't seen.
How far? This is early.
This is his
1979?
second one ever.
How is he so easy to understand?
Well, does Hercules count? Hercules was in 1970. That was the one where they had to dub him. He was like,
100%.
yes, it was Hercules. Like literally couldn't understand a word.
Gotcha.
Dubbed him over with like, I am Hercules guy. Then 1976.
That wasn't bad. Well done,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you. 1976 was Stay Hungry, a movie that he did 6 years later.
Right.
The protein powder story.
And then Pumping Iron was a big documentary that kind of thrust him into the spotlight. And this was 1979. So this was 9 years after Hercules.
Okay.
And he'd already been working with, acting coaches and stuff like that.
Duolingo.
Duolingo. He had agents and people tell him, like, give him to work with an accent removal coach where they were trying to get him to lose the accent. And he couldn't do it. I mean, it was like
Thank
a disaster.
God.
But you imagine if he'd like listened to them and he just came out in his movies like,
John Connor.
I will
Please
be
come
back.
with me.
Come with me if you want to live.
Well, hi there.
That's right. And then at 10:30 p.m. in 1997, April 16th, Skynet became self-aware.
That made me think of the clock in the Loki TV show.
Oh, I haven't seen the Loki TV show.
It's really
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
All right, guys, look, I don't know if you're serious, if you're just messing with me because like you did with Big Trouble in Little China where you knew I really liked something.
I would never.
And you just like tanked the whole thing until the end.
Not this time.
Okay. We're going to go through this movie scene by scene, but I just want to say thanks again for those of you who are tuning in. If you'd like to reach out to the show, there's any number of ways that you can do that. Start off with our email address, thisshowIstrash@gmail.com, or you can call the show 262-757-8567. Leave us a voicemail. Either one of those ways, we're going to talk to you through our mailbag episode. That's where we answer all our questions, emails, voicemails, all that stuff. So if you want to interact with the show, it's the best way to do it. Otherwise, check out the show notes for everything else you'd like to see about the show, how to join our Patreon, how to get on our newsletter. All of that stuff is down there. And we just appreciate you guys listening. So we're going to take a second here and pay the bills.
Nice.
You guys ready to dive in?
I am.
Absolutely.
Awesome. It's okay. It's one of those things whenever I what?
I'm just
What?
laughing because I pushed so hard for this movie.
Yes.
And I started watching it. I was probably 15 minutes in and I was like, oh crap, is this the movie where he paints the wall?
You're like, what have I done?
I was like, wait a second. This is some.
What did you
Looney
think it
Tunes
was? You thought it was
shit.
something else?
I remembered like some of the stuff. I remembered his gun having 7 shots. I remember, and then all of a sudden, as I'm watching, I'm remembering how Looney Tunes this is, and I was just like,
Literally.
oh no, what did I do?
That's exactly what it is.
It literally is.
Absolutely.
Homage.
100%.
The problem is you don't know that right away.
Right.
They don't make it obvious.
And so
Oh, yes, they do.
here's what, well, they do quickly, but the first, I don't know, call it 3 minutes. Imagine me. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm
Yes.
like trying to figure out what kind of movie this is. Okay, here's screen icon Kirk Douglas, very serious act. Spartacus. Okay, Ace in the Hole, great old 50s Kirk Douglas movie, guys. Check it out if you haven't seen it before. And here he is. He's dressed in black. He's a serious cowboy, and there's a train coming past him, and he's obviously timing it like he's going to jump on the train.
Puts up his duster.
Puts up his duster. I'm like, oh, all right, Kirk Douglas, let's go.
Rob the train. Let's
And
go.
then he leaps and misses the train, and the damn air mattress comes up into the shot
Yeah.
that he landed on. And I just stopped it immediately and died laughing. And I just went, okay,
on.
all right, this is, I got to readjust every expectation I
Yes.
Not one of those films.
have what this is.
I literally at that point I was like, oh, this is going to be good. That was the second best moment in the movie.
I couldn't believe that. You see the corner of this thing just peek in and then cut right to him face first on the rocks.
Yeah, he straight out flat jumps this thing.
Like, okay.
Wile E. Coyote.
All right. Yeah. That's it. That whole, it's basically a live action Wile E. Coyote
Yep.
movie.
They said, how could we make Roadrunner better? At
Worse.
Arnold.
All right, Ed Arnold. We were wrong.
I told
Oh my
you.
God, we've been wrong this whole time.
Oh, I guess that's true. This, but it does set the tone,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm like, okay, immediate readjustment of all expectations, because if not, it's going to be. I try to think about the way I came into Wagons East, which is another kind of screwball Western. And I'm like, all right, I have got to have a totally different mindset for this movie and not judge it the way that I looked at Wagons East, which was not kindly, I suppose.
Yeah.
So this was a little bit of a different thing. So to get into the character here, he gets up and we learn, okay, his name is Jack Slade, Cactus Jack
Yes.
Slade.
That's got to be hard.
And his horse he's in a toxic relationship with a horse.
Named Whiskey.
That's right. And they do not, I want a donut. This is just my mind telling me I'm hungry. They do not get along. In fact, Whiskey's sick of all of his bullshit because he's chucking him off.
Bad guy?
He's a bad guy.
He's
He's a bad guy.
He's a
not
terrible
good at
bad
it.
guy. He's reading the bad guy handbook,
It's amazing.
like literally page for page, trying to figure out how to bad guy.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this will
Skipping steps.
Yeah. So what that is it's the Western equivalent of Googling something.
Yeah.
When you don't know how to
He invented
do it,
Google.
right?
Yep.
It's like,
But
how do I rob
just like
this
in
bank?
real life, sometimes you get bad advice on the Google machine. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's his version of Reddit, and he's like, it's just toxic people responding.
Right.
You know?
I didn't even know who
trolls.
wrote until the end when he's like, no more Billy the Kid, no more Doc Holly. I'm like, hold on a second. This whole time you've been taking advice from these icons and you're just screwing it up. I was blaming the book for halfway through the movie. I'm like, get a different book, dude. Stop reading out of this thing. It's obviously not working.
I don't think Billy the Kid used a giant boulder.
No, I don't think so either.
Doc Holliday painting the side of a mountain.
The Clantons are coming through. Gonna paint the side of a boulder. Oh my gosh. All right, so hold on. The horse is throwing him off, being a dickhead.
Because the horse is demanding respect, and I like that.
Yes, that's true. You could view this as a horse activist movie, I suppose.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Because he keeps saying rude things to the horse, and the horse is like, no, thank you.
Well, no, you're right. He's tired. He's sick of his BS.
Right.
For sure. Whiskey's had enough of his crap.
That's it.
But how do we know that Jack is a bad guy?
He's wearing a black outfit, and that's what happens in Westerns.
Okay. All right, so you had an answer I wasn't prepared for.
Sorry.
Big deal. Okay. But
Sorry.
how else, genius, do we know that he's a bad guy?
He was trying to rob a train.
They sang an entire song.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Captain Jack. No, not Captain
does it
Jack.
go?
Cactus Jack. Captain Jack Sparrow. Just runs with his arms.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
He's the villain.
Right.
Yes.
The villain. What a great.
The entire score of this movie is like
describing the entire movie.
just
Yes.
going straight the background notes.
He rode along on his horse and he's a bad guy. The villain. He's the villain. I don't even know how it actually goes. This is from memory.
That's really close. But it was, I mean, it's basically just parodying spaghetti westerns like the whole movie is.
Yeah.
Yes, because the opening to these movies, there's always this kind of like, he rode in on a horse, like these songs, like you used to watch John Wayne movies and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's like Chisholm.
Yes.
Chisholm. John Chisholm.
That's such a good pull.
Yeah, dude.
Our listenership runs deep with Chisholm fans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that one's gonna hit hard.
Billy the Kid's in that.
Okay,
Wait a second.
I think
I've
that missed
seen
half
that.
the table.
Chisholm.
I have no
Just
idea
do
what
it.
that is.
John Chisholm.
I have no idea what that is.
And he's
Something, I don't know what it
the
is.
villain. Take it away, Nicole. The villain.
Villain. And I don't know who that guy is that you're talking about.
You know who John Wayne is?
Oh, well, now, yeah.
You haven't seen Chisholm, all right.
All right.
No,
yeah.
just stop saying it. It's making me uncomfortable.
It's Chisholm.
I know.
CH.
But we have some children, probably. I mean, like old, like regular adults, but like, who are
Okay.
children.
All right, that's fair.
Okay.
It's a different website.
Jack rolls up on the bank.
No, he doesn't yet. Jack rolls into this old Western metropolis, this gigantic place,
Yes.
because it is high daytime.
Yeah,
When they roll into town, it's like, we're going to head over to the bank and blah, 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 blah. And they start walking across this town. It looks like it's about 4 buildings deep.
Yeah.
And they end up at the bank. It's dark, like dark, closed up, boarded up. It's like, how big was this town?
He's the villain. He
song-
rides slow because he's so
We had to wait
bad.
for the song to finish. It's like, oh my God.
That's what he's doing.
We're going to be here a while.
They spent too much money on the song. That's where
That's where the $5
where all the
million
money
went.
There it is.
It's like, oh, we gotta go through 3 million more in song before we get to the bank.
They actually got John Williams to write the music for this.
Nice.
That's why it's so good.
I also like at the very beginning, Kirk Douglas does a totally normal bad guy thing.
Yeah.
He just sits there and he spins his spur and then he spins his revolver.
Yeah.
What's the revolver part of the revolver?
The revolver.
We're going with it.
I love that.
I like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
He
The
spins
wheel.
that and then he thinks pensively. I guess you would thinkively. Anyway,
Yeah.
and that's how you would start a movie, right? It's very deep. Very deep.
No, it's good. He's thinking about his agent or who he's going to hire after he fires
Right.
this one. Right?
How did I end up here?
The revolver.
He's thinking to himself, I was in Spartacus.
Kirk,
You remember that?
could you do a little bit more Wile E. Coyote for us?
Yeah.
He's
please.
showing some range.
He is, I suppose.
Out on the range.
Nice.
He's the villain. All right, sorry. He shows the range.
When he's out on the range.
Sorry. Jack rolls up on the bank after he waits 24 hours.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Thank you for that correction. But the guy doesn't, the bank clerk, who I loved, I can't remember what the actor's name is.
He was good.
The drunk bank clerk. I'm like, oh, I worked at a bank. I wish I was drunk the whole time. That would have been, that would have
Foster
made
Brooks.
it. Foster Brooks. The old drunk ass bank clerk.
Grew up in the wrong time. That's
right.
So good back then.
They didn't have pizza back then, but they could show up to work drunk and nobody cared. The best America. Nope. Okay, that's
I
fine.
don't know
That was
what
great. I love that.
I didn't
That was great.
understand what you said.
I was like, it was America.
Oh.
The old West.
Merc.
Hey.
All right. I'd say let's go back to how it was, but I would have hated to have lived that.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Get made fun of for ordering sarsaparilla.
know, seriously.
Terrible.
Only have a job choice of one, pretty much. No thanks.
So we're gonna have you
All right,
be
that's
the
fair.
banker, the doctor,
busy
and the
that
general
day.
store
No, that's
No
manager.
thanks.
All right, so the drunk bank clerk doesn't have the combination to the safe.
Right.
Because he gets in, he goes, 1, whatever he said, I don't care. 2, open the safe. 3,
Get on the floor.
get on the floor, right? And guy doesn't follow directions. But regardless, we find he doesn't know the safe comp. Only the guy that owns the bank does.
He follows direction number 1
Yeah.
and goes straight to getting on the floor. It's like, you forgot number 2. It's like, no, I did that when you put the gun in my face. Best part of the movie.
Well, we covered the two things Clint liked about this movie.
See? So right now we're at 100. It's not going to crash. He basically, like I said, he pulls out his bad guy handbook, can't figure out how to get into the safe, laces the thing with dynamite, blows I like the explosion. The walls just disintegrate.
Just knocked the roof off the place.
He didn't watch Armageddon.
No.
Because he just laid the dynamite on top.
Right, which is exactly what they needed to do was get a drill expert.
He needed Bruce Willis to come and drill a big hole in
Drill, baby, drill.
I mean, this guy might know about riding horses and singing songs, but he doesn't know anything about drilling.
We're going to need a crew. The best drillers.
And we don't want to
in the
pay
world.
taxes again, ever. then we'll break into the safe for you. Can we talk about Armageddon
They
instead?
could have done
Do you
it.
know that
in.
movie at least?
It's fantastic.
No?
No, it's
Oh, you did?
it's
Okay.
fantastic.
All right. Good. I was going to get
I was
really
like
worried about you
breathing,
if you didn't.
like, and then I don't know. I just couldn't get words out. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Steve Tyler. He obviously blows the place apart, so the sheriff's coming, and he full sends it through a window, even though the walls are gone. Tries to dive out the window, face first into some bars.
Still bars, yeah.
Kirk Douglas. So let's.
On the outside of the window.
It's important. You don't want horses getting in through a window.
Sure.
It's true.
Keeps the horses out. There's a big problem, I assume,
They
back
come
in the
into
old West.
saloons.
They come in the saloons. They use the toilets. They try to climb in through the bank windows.
That's
What?
the thing.
It's a thing. So what was I going to say?
Oh, I should have used 2 sticks of dynamite. That would have blown the roof off
He
slightly.
tried going through the window. Kirk Douglas.
Respect Kirk Douglas in that it's obvious he did a lot of these pratfalls himself. 62 years old at the time that he did this movie. And he's running into rock faces and falling down and diving into bars.
Walking
and all
around
kinds of
shirtless,
stuff.
feeling good about it.
Feeling good. I hope I look as good as Kirk Douglas does when I'm 62.
You don't.
I really liked the. What, you don't. He's not 60.
I'm not 62 yet, so I've got
You got
some
time to
time
get back
to
You
get
were
back
born
to
the
it.
year this came out.
I was. Oh my gosh.
But I did like the stunts in this. I
Yeah.
thought they were entertaining.
Yeah.
There was one that was especially brutal that when we get to it, we got to talk about that for a second. But Whiskey screws him over again. He jumps on the horse. Horse sits down. It's like, no, screw you. Goes to jail. That's it. That's the end of the movie.
Yep.
No, it's not, because we have to meet the handsome stranger.
Everybody got that?
Okay?
Yeah.
That's his name.
Actual name. He is handsome. They don't know him.
I was named after my father.
I was named after my father.
That's right. I'm the handsome stranger. And what's so great about this is the introduction we get to him is he forcibly helps an old lady
Across the street.
who is not interested in crossing the street.
That's right.
But
Right.
like when Arnold says it's time to cross the street,
You crossed the damn.
you cross the damn street.
Come here.
Listen, we're going to cross it now. Right? He's like, I don't want to cross it. It doesn't matter. He came up to me. He's like, here, eat this hot dog. Do it. You're hungry. And he starts stuffing it in my face. I'm going to eat the thing. It's time to brush your teeth. And he just starts, Arnold, whatever you say. Okay.
Yep.
Right?
I couldn't stop him, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Dude,
She's so mad.
she is. And there was a ton of horses
That's a lot of
crossing that.
traffic.
For a tiny Old West town. There was 47 horses and carriages trying to cross the street at the same exact time.
It was stressful for it being a comedy and
Yes.
being, like, I don't know. I was like worried. I was like, he's gonna start punching some horses.
How did...
I thought for sure.
Uh-oh. Glasses off.
Okay. The biggest travesty of this entire movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't punch one damn animal in the face. Not one.
Where I'm watching this, I've never
fine
seen it
with that.
before. Kelly's there. There's a moment where I think that Jack is going to punch the horse. I was like, that's not his job. Don't
No.
you dare.
Because have you done an Arnold movie yet on the show?
I did Jingle All the Way.
Oh, that's right. He punched a reindeer in that one. It's like a thing. He's done it in like 7 different movies. And so I'm just disappointed. At this point, maybe they didn't know it was his thing.
Maybe it was
He
cut.
didn't have his thing yet.
Yeah, that's true. Because he didn't donkey punch the camel till Conan, which is 2 years after this. So
Let's talk about that.
I would love to, but we can't. So the other thing, what'd you guys think of Arnold's costume?
His pecs were distracting. Just gonna say it. I didn't mean to. I just was like,
Yeah.
there they are again.
It basically is the Lone Ranger costume without the mask. I mean, it's almost exactly what it was.
Okay.
If you've ever
Buy
seen
that.
the old Lone Ranger
Baby
stuff.
blue though.
Baby blue, toy. Oh, you wear Schwinger. Yes, toy like a tiger. I could tell by your
Yeah.
tight pants. Yeah. And then baby blue. And I thought he looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was Arnold, for
But-
sure. So young, Arnold.
Very, very young.
Fit right into the town. Didn't stick out at all.
Oh, yeah, you blend. Yeah, no, I think I think he looked good. I think all I can think about was Doc Brown from Back to the Future 2 or 3 when Marty shows up dressed ridiculous. He goes, "What idiot dressed you in that outfit?"
You
right?
did.
Yeah,
You
that's
did.
right. Because he just thinks this is what he looks like, a guy that dressed like he thinks old people in the West dress, but not quite right. Then here we get introduced to our third main character, Charmin. And she also has her own song.
Which is not the toilet paper brand. It's the word charming.
Charmin, Charmin. Mr. Whipple said, "Don't squeeze it." She's Charmin, Charmin.
She's friendly with every man.
Yeah, that's true.
That was beautiful.
Charmin, Charmin. I think that's actually how it
You're
goes.
falling out of your top.
Charmin, Charmin.
She's wearing lots of gingham and she's really not gonna stop. How was that?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dad is sending her to Snake's End to pick up the loan money. This is the plot is useless in this
Shouldn't-
movie.
shouldn't he have
Your
just gone?
mission.
Nothing. Yeah. Why send the daughter?
Yeah, just go.
It's and also, is this how loan funds were dispersed in the Old West? You had to go pick them up and bring. That sounds dangerous.
Right. Yeah, so they got to leave their place and get on a train
Yeah.
from assumedly near their place
Right.
to the bank.
Right.
They get off, they go to the bank, they pick up the money, and they don't get back on the train to go home. No.
No, train only goes one direction. You know.
Yeah, apparently trains don't
It goes
go.
into the ocean, under the ground, back around.
Exactly.
It would have taken too long.
Yeah. It would have taken way too long.
So
6
instead
years.
we have a two-day travel with overnight
Yeah.
stays.
You can get back on the train, but it takes you 6 years to get home.
Okay.
Right. It's a long time. So yeah, you got to find
Maybe
a
there's
handsome,
more bad guys per capita on a train.
You got to find a handsome stranger to escort you back home.
Right.
Right. Which it was prearranged by Parody Jones here, for his daughter Charmin to meet up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's going to escort her back. Anyway, she gets on the train. I'm pretty sure she banged 6 guys while she was on that train ride over to Snake's End, because she's not on that thing for 4 seconds, and she's stroking like at least 3 different dudes that she don't even know their names. Literally just got on the train. They're hanging off the end of the caboose waiting for her to get on. Okay. Then she
I
gets
know
off.
what that's like. It's hard.
It's hard. It's a
People
burden.
just won't
rough.
leave you alone.
You just want to live your life.
Gosh, get off the caboose. Not mine. The train one.
Obvious.
But also,
Both.
also
Say
off mine.
both.
Also off mine.
Yes. Off both.
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 Charmin, Charmin.
Get
Stay
those
off the caboose
off
and
your
also her
caboose.
caboose.
I was trying to figure out a way to work that in.
It's all good.
Nope. Won't do it. When
Glad
you
you're
said,
here. Glad
Get off
you're
the caboose. Not mine. I'm like,
No,
Arnold
I meant-
and the telegram
what I was
guy.
trying to say is I
Let's talk
wasn't-
about that scene.
Saying
yes, Arnold.
Arnold and the telegram guy.
Yep.
Yes.
Stuttering telegram guy.
who was great.
He did a fine job, but why? That's just like,
There's
we're
a
going to
couple
make
of
this
them.
one scene that you're in.
So-
take
He was Porky Pig.
really
Next.
long time.
In
That's who he
Yeah.
was.
Every
Oh my
single
gosh.
person
Is that what
is
you were
a
gonna say?
character. Sorry. Did I steal your thing?
no, I loved it.
Porky Pig.
He was Porky Pig.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. Why do I even have a movie podcast?
That's it. Pack it up.
We've been meaning to talk to you. This is actually an intervention.
I watch stuff and I don't even know what's happening. I
We've
just
been
sit there and just go.
uploading it to the internet.
"Dur, dur, dur." Arnold is like, yes, that's my name, handsome stranger. I'm like just focusing on Arnold. I must have been distracted by his
You
pecs
got your
too.
Arnold goggles on.
That's all I got. Seriously. He's like, I have one job. Okay, I'm going to take her from here, and I'm going to take her back to her daddy. Okay.
Right.
And he goes, and then doesn't he just ask him like a direct question about his backstory, if I remember right?
Why? I think his accent. Like, why do you talk like that? And he's like, you should say that for yourself because he talks.
Oh, that's
different
right.
Too.
It's easy for you to say.
That's it. That's
That's
it. Which
right.
is a hilarious joke about stutters.
Right.
But
Right.
that was how they solved the fact that he's got the German accent. Austrian.
Don't you work for Parody Jones because of some reason he helped you deeply in your past?
Oh.
Like basically something to that effect.
Say that.
And he says, yes, it's true. He saved my life once, and I've been beholden to him ever since.
Which just slipped right out of his mouth. Supernatural. He practiced that one a lot in the mirror.
That was rough.
I was not expecting Arnold to say beholden.
Script
So,
said.
it seemed so natural.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my backstory, and I have to go. Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out who, because like everybody's a character here, right?
Yeah.
We have Wile E. Coyote. That's established.
Yes. She's Miss Piggy.
So he's the Roadrunner?
He's the Roadrunner.
He's not Bugs Bunny. I mean, he's the one who slips past
No, because
Wile E. Coyote
here's the
at
thing.
every
Bugs
single...
is smart.
Right, he slips past the coyote at every single turn, but without putting any effort into it. Just goes on with his life, and it's like it never happens. So he's the Roadrunner?
Yeah, but
He's Roadrunner because he's playing a part that's brainless.
I'm just saying he's a moron. Whereas,
Brain.
but
But the
Roadrunner's
Roadrunner never
smart.
rescued anybody.
But he goes, yeah, instead of meet.
But did he actually rescue
beep
her?
beep.
Well, that was the... No.
Right. So
At the end,
it's
I guess
fitting.
not.
It's
Yeah.
fitting. So I think
Is she-
Roadrunner. I'm in.
It's a thick ass Roadrunner. Let me just tell you.
Maybe
Okay?
she's Bugs Bunny
You ever-
in drag.
You ever like see when Bugs Bunny dresses up like a girl bunny? You ever get turned on by that? No.
Me neither.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah.
I definitely never did. Being 9 is confusing. I'm not going to talk about it. All right. What the hell are we talking about? All right. So Bugs Bunny. Yeah. So he's the Roadrunner then. Okay. Did you ever watch SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
If,
Gary.
if he's Roadrunner, it's like, to me, it's like when Squidward becomes handsome Squidward.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You ever seen handsome Squidward?
Yep.
That's the Arnie version of Roadrunner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's handsome Roadrunner. That's what it is.
All right.
That's
Just
what we're doing.
like this Roadrunner.
Roadrunner
right.
equals stranger. Got it.
That's right. I'm the stranger, and I'm not doing that this whole time.
That was so good.
He has a song. They play once for 4 seconds. Charmin, it's soft on your butt.
Charm.
They do that over and over
Yeah,
and over
they
and
do.
over and over and over
Soft
again.
bears will cuddle with it.
That's right. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
I'm so sorry I brought it up. I apologize. My fault.
All right. So, anyway, Mr. Avery, the guy that owns the bank, comes into the jail to cut a deal with Jack. And he's like, look, man, you tried to rob my bank, but look, I ain't even mad at you. I didn't keep any money in that safe anyway because I don't trust banks. Was one of the few legitimate laughs that I had
Yeah.
when I was watching this. I was like, all right, that's valid. But basically, he's like, again, I'm going to lay this out so quickly because the plot ultimately means nothing.
Yep.
Okay. Something about how Charmin's dad owns half of a mine with this guy, but now he wants to use it as collateral, and so we can't let him have the money because I'm lending him the money, and therefore I'll be able to assume ownership of the entire mine.
Right.
From this point on, that never comes up again. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless.
Right.
Just know hiring bad guy to get the money and kill these two before they can get back to
Kill
dad.
one and ravage the other.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So that's the plot.
Everybody got that?
Okay. Now we can get on with this. And also, why hire the guy that just performed the most inept bank robbery ever?
Well, he's got a great book.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just one crazy misstep, but now he'll be fine.
The bank owner's like, well,
in
is
the
that really the kid's
recruitment,
book?
in the recruitment, he mentions $1,000.
Yeah.
And then as he agrees to it and everything, they go through and they walk out the door. It's like, and that $500, didn't you make mention of $1,000? Did I make mention of a hanging?
Yeah.
I expected the next time he talked to him, it would be $250 and then $125.
Yeah.
But we never see him
They
again.
never pan that out. You know?
After they leave town, we don't see the bank manager ever again.
Yeah.
We don't see anybody ever again except for these three and then some people they run into on the road.
Right.
But none of these other characters ever. We never see her dad again. They never bring any of it back around.
Right.
It's just nothing. It's a big nothing
and
burger.
her dad had a weird name. I'm looking up. It was
Parody Jones.
Parody.
Yeah, Parody and Charmin. Charmin.
Charming.
Terming
Charmin.
It's with an ing. Charming.
with a ch.
All right. So Jack, before he can be bothered to do anything, I'm trying to get through the stuff before they hit the road as fast as I can, because really this movie is all of the attempts he makes at them on the road. That's the movie in a nutshell. Jack, before he can be bothered to do anything, needs to go pour some whiskey straight into his eyeball.
Yep.
Why?
No reason.
Because on paper it was going to be hilarious.
I guess.
Yeah.
He opens his eye and takes an entire shot glass of whiskey, pours it in, punches a couple dudes, yeets one like short guy off from the bar, and then he wakes up the next morning and the bank manager's like, "Get up, you're supposed to do this." And I think we have our second bestiality joke in the number of westerns that we've currently watched
So
together.
great.
right? I immediately thought of you.
I was
Is
like,
that bad?
put the pig in a different place. Don't put it in this movie.
He wakes up and there's a pig in bed with him with like a red ribbon tied around his neck. And I'm like, what the hell is with these movies we've been watching where they feel like I'm now nervous that any Western I watch from here on out on the show is going to have some joke. It's going to be a sheep next time.
Nope. No.
I'm not. You're going to break from Westerns after this, Nicole, okay? I just know your heart can't take it anymore.
I like a good tumbleweed. That's fine. Just an actual tumbleweed. It's kind of,
Yeah.
Ooh. Guys, hire us for all your Western parties.
Arnie goes to pick up Charmin. Charmin?
Yeah.
Charmin. And she's still on the train. He gets her from the train. And she's still massaging three guys. They're all
And she
huddled
says,
around
would
her.
you hold on to these? And she meant her bags, but she was talking about, I guess, also.
Her bags?
Yeah, there you go. There
As
you
she
go.
leaned over. Charmin.
Well, the camera angle doesn't help.
No.
Or did it?
It's meant to help, I suppose. Depending
But-
on your audience. I don't think I'm the audience.
Plot twist. Arnie is immune to her dark Riz magic.
Apparently.
Dark Riz magic.
Honestly, because it just like bounces off of his forehead like no problem. Like,
Yeah.
stay strong, Arnie. Like that.
He's a damn oak.
Honestly,
Wyatt didn't have a shot.
No. And she is immediately like they get on the cart together and they're driving down. They haven't left town yet. They're going down the middle of Main Street, and she's already like massaging him, basically like touching his lips with her fingers and grabbing onto his arm and leaning all over him. And he gives this hilarious speech about the horses that he had to stop.
Right.
I loved this because it was like every time you talk like Arnold, you're
Yes.
just going on about nonsense.
Like run on sentences.
Yeah, because he's just telling the story
Right.
as Arnold tells it.
It was the best part of the whole movie.
It's only
I don't
because you
even
get to
know it
listen
off the
to
top of my head,
Arnold.
but he's just like, yeah. So your father helped me because I had gotten beat up by a bunch of ruffians, and all I was doing is I was going down the street, and there were these horses, and they were escaping and they're running, and it's very dangerous because there's people and there's women and there's children, and we got to save the little children because of the horses, and I just had to dive over here on the horse, and sometimes when there's horses running and there's children, you got to do something, and he just goes and goes. It's awesome. And then it turns out the horses he dove on was the freaking fire department trying to put out a whorehouse that was burning down.
That's my only job. This is the only cat house in town. You put me out of work.
I told you, it's not a lot of jobs.
Oh, that's the one job you were talking about. I'm like, why
Yep.
doesn't Nicole want to work in the Old West? She's like, I know. I'm thinking like a maid or something.
A tech.
Okay. Got it.
What
Got
kind
it.
of work are you in?
That's right. And for some reason, there's a picture of Burt Reynolds on the side of this whore factory where
Whore factory.
Why wouldn't there be?
You're just pumping him out.
whatever they're called.
Kind of. In a way.
But
I
here's what
suppose.
happened. So I figured it out after the fact. I'm just sitting here, talk about confusion. I'm like, why the frick is Burt Reynolds? Hal Needham directed the Smokey and the Bandit movies, and they're like best friends. And so he put it up there as a joke, like to his friend, that his face is on the, okay. Hilarious. But we love inside jokes. Love to be a part of one someday. Be awesome. Can you imagine?
That would be next level stuff.
They're my favorite.
All right. We're here. They've left town, and Jack has left town, and they've all hit the road, Arnie and Charmin, and she's basically, petting him, smoozing on him. Charmin.
This is what grooming looks like.
She puts a strap of her dress down.
Yep.
Right? Which in the Old West, that was like, she should have started an OnlyFans account at that
Right.
point. I mean, it was just
That's
like,
it.
she gets her knee, even though her knees are covered, she tries to get her knees out. I'm like, yo, I thought she was going to pop one out. I didn't know. I mean, not to just, she was,
You don't know, man.
you don't know what's happening with Ann-Margret in this movie. She seriously, Charmin.
She's unhinged.
Charmin. She's
Like-
the biggest slut in the West.
Right. Legitimately, they knew this movie was 89 minutes long and needed to keep the adult children watching.
Yes.
That's her job.
That was actually the tagline for the movie.
Sorry.
We'll keep your husband for 89 minutes. He'll be here when you get back.
Right.
I mean, she's from a small town, probably otherwise has no guys around.
I
It was her
guess.
chance.
All guys.
All's
now.
I've done is kiss my cousins.
Here's the first attempt that Jack makes on them. So the first, and I counted. Nicole messaged us last night. She was the first one to watch the movie, and then Clint watched it, and then I had only been like 10 minutes in, and she goes, "Somebody, it's too late. I've already finished it. Should count the number of times that."
To which I responded immediately, "Nope."
Jack, tries to kill him, and I did. So that was actually a wonderful suggestion.
What's the number? How
So
are we going to go?
We're going to get to it. Attempt number 1.
All right.
Here we go.
You have to
Attempt
stay tuned,
number
everyone.
1.
That's a teaser.
Kirk Douglas, his horse yeets him up on top of a cliff. Okay. He's like standing on top of him, and the horse just like bucks him
Yep.
Impressively.
50 feet in the air.
Because the horse neighs like, and he goes
Right.
higher, and he goes,
He then like expends all 6 shots in his gun during a pitch meeting with the horse, like as far as
Right.
like what he's like pitching his idea for like,
One.
for like what he's gonna do.
Two.
because the run through.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop the horses, bang, bang, bang.
Right.
Then I'm gonna shoot him, bang, bang, bang.
Right. Okay.
And then he's going to stop by the bullet store on the way to the next place. Save those.
That's right. Or he's just like a dog, and or a squirrel. He's just been burying them like all over the wilderness, throughout his whole life. He's got little stashes of them somewhere. The gun tosses, though, I thought were low key impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Also, earlier in the bar when he was yeeting the guy.
Yeah.
Also impressive.
Yeah.
Well done.
He says,
Kirk.
"That's an uppercut." And he turns to the next guy, and I just see how he's standing. Well, that's going to be a left cross. And that's a left cross. Like, come on.
Yeah, man.
It's like,
Amazing.
my wife's like, "You got to stop watching these movies." Like, you're right. I can't.
When he jumps out in front of him, though, obviously he doesn't have any bullets left. And Arnie can't see anything because he's got 2 beach umbrellas in his face. And so
He's rearranging the luggage.
but,
yeah.
He's rearranging the luggage. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, he's rearranging the luggage. You're right.
It's important to the plot.
I just assumed it was other distractions.
No, he's
Sure.
completely ignoring her.
All right, I had 2 beach umbrellas in my face, and I didn't
There it
understand.
is. But he put his butt cheeks up there too for anybody else who needed a
He did. That's true. That's true.
beach umbrellas for everybody.
You get the front and the back.
His spurs. So now he's being dragged underneath this freaking wagon. His spurs stick in, and because he's got a 1-piece pants and boots combo,
Boot combo, yeah.
takes everything,
Suspenders.
digs in, and he gets slingshotted back into his pants from his suspenders.
So stupid.
Looney Tunes style. It was awesome.
With some fast motion, right? Did they do a little
Yeah.
fast?
Oh, they do. They have to.
It was great.
That's failed attempt number 1.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he's like, I don't understand how that didn't work. Attempt
What
number
Billy
2.
the Kid do?
Also, Kirk also has pretty good knot tying skills. He
Yeah.
showed off. So, just giving credit where it's due.
Attempt number 2, he's now at the top of a cliff, and he rappels down the cliff to get in front of Handsome Stranger and Charmin. And as he lands, a perfectly round boulder
Made out of.
that was just
Paper mache.
There it is.
that was just rolling around the wilderness.
Yeah, super easy for him.
a-
It was just already going.
Tinfoil tumbleweed.
It's just
Yeah, it started as a tumbleweed and turned into
it's
a
just
big
been traveling.
dirt ball.
This handsome boulder was just rolling across the
It's like-
plains.
This is the precursor to rubber. That's what I needed. It's just boulder. With
Where
the-
he's
the rock.
going, no one knows for sure. He's the boulder. I did. Why? It's
Because
just
they have them in those kind of cartoons. So I guess
yes,
that's it.
I understand that. But it's dislodging a boulder, which happens later. Makes sense. I'm not even complaining about the cartooniness of the fact that he gets crushed by this boulder
Right.
because they've established, which I don't mind once they do that. What I'm going to do is a different story. But it's just like, why is it already just rolling
Yeah.
off this cliff?
Yeah.
It's just
Did the horse knock it or something?
I
or-
know they don't show anything. It's just like that's why I needed a whole backstory for the boulder that it had just been traveling across the plains of the West, and it just ran off
Like
this cliff.
Missing Piece. Did
Yeah.
you know that book? I'm looking for my missing piece. Then fleece my knees and grease my bees. It's a Shel Silverstein book.
Okay, I'm supposed to know that, but you don't know Chisholm, John
It's a
Chisholm.
book I read at time when I was a kid.
I liked where the sidewalk ends and the attic
Light
one.
in the
Oh
attic.
Light in
man,
the attic, yeah.
the poem's sick. It's genius.
Okay,
Read
I will
it.
check it out because I do like Shel Silverstein.
And then write to us and tell us about it.
Charmin, the biggest whore in the
No,
West.
okay.
All right, sorry.
Average.
She goes,
Average.
Woman
We're back
looking
to-
for opportunities with what she has, which is
She
nothing really.
says,
So.
let's talk Like, you don't say much, do you? Let's talk. What do you want to talk about? And they're like, literally anything. Surprise me. And what does he say? Do you want to see my gun?
Yeah.
And her face is like, all right.
There we
and
go.
And then he sees it, and she's
A
like,
real
oh,
gun.
damn it. Damn it.
There another
Those
movie.
are just like
And I'm not allowed to sing about her being a whore.
We had
but
another
she's like, show me your gun.
movie where someone said, "I'm going to show you my gun," and then it was a gun.
Oh,
and
did it?
then the
It
girl was
probably- I
disappointed.
mean-
If you know what that was, please write to us.
It's he's got a whole, there's lore about the gun and everything. He had it specially made.
Not very deep lore.
It's a,
No, but there's-
it's a 6-shot gun, but it has 7 shots.
Why would you need 7 shots?
It's not a 7-shooter. It's a 7-shot 6-shooter.
Right.
Which is a very different thing.
And why? I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody ever asked me that before.
That's true. And the writer came up with the joke, and then he just goes,
Good enough.
good enough. I don't know.
good.
I don't know. We have to have a reason.
He had
like
Harrison.
they-
No reason. Oh, there we go.
And he marched out of his bedroom, script in hand, yellow legal pad, and he said, I just wrote the greatest joke in this movie.
I think that Harrison Ford popped into the guy's bedroom when he's writing it and just said, "It's not that kind of movie, kid."
I wish I could do it. Hey, kid. I can't do it. But
I can't either.
It's good stuff.
You're
I
one
sound like-
celeb guy.
Mickey Mouse over here.
Attempt number 3 on his life. Did you have something? Oh,
No,
okay.
attempt number 3.
He, being Jack, I assume murdered some poor organ priest out in the woods? Because how the hell else did he just find a costume and an organ on a wagon? In the wilderness?
None of his anything he does in this movie has any kind of setup. It just,
No.
he's here now.
He's resourceful and fast.
We are forced to fill in the blanks, and so I imagine this poor organ priest was just having lunch under a tree somewhere.
If you didn't see it, what we're talking about is it's a wagon on which there is an organ.
Yeah.
And he's like a pastor.
Yes.
And he was, talking about the Bible. and
Playing the
things.
hymns and
Yes.
and so he tries
Love
to.
them Latin hymns.
That's right. Yeah,
And said Acme right on the side of the wagon.
and respect that he can just bust out some hymns on the organ.
Right.
Yeah.
He also wrote Reverend Slade on the side, which is his actual last name. So that sort of gave it away if someone.
But he wrote it in the priest's blood that he murdered, so that's not great. Right.
Points down.
Points down for that.
Execution. Get it? Points for execution.
Dude, this poor priest out here trying to play some hymns for the chipmunks and stuff, and now all of a sudden he gets killed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. He ends up talking the guns off of Handsome Stranger.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Conveniently, right after the whole audience was informed
Everybody got that?
about his 7th shot, empties 6 bullets, fires the other one off because he doesn't know it's loaded.
If I point this gun at you, you'd be scared. But if I point this gun at you, you wouldn't be worried about it because it's empty.
Bang!
Bang.
Horses get spooked, rips the entire top half of his wagon off, and just drags him away. And this was the stunt. I don't know if this was Kirk or not, but when the wagon stopped and rolled and he stayed on top of the thing, full rotation around, and it like rotated underneath him, it looked gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like, it looked like a metal rowboat.
As I was going to say,
Yeah.
it looked like a John boat, and there's
Yeah.
water in the background. Watch, he's going to end up skitching across the lake at the end of this thing. And
No.
it didn't. It's like,
But the thing took him 360 all the way around, and whoever this dude was, whether it was Kirk or somebody else, just ate it.
yeah.
And mad respect to that stunt person because it doesn't look like the kind of thing you could plan. And,
Right.
They just you end up with an awesome shot. And this happens sometimes making movies. You're like, oh my God, you okay? You okay?
Did we get that?
Are we good? That shot was awesome. Right? Once everybody's okay. All right. So attempt number 4. And this guy's, and if you think we're just being methodical here, it's just, this is the movie. Nothing happens in between these attempts. I mean, occasionally there's a scene like at the campsite or whatever, but otherwise it's just one attempt to the next attempt to the next attempt, and it's all just Jack trying different ways to stop them. Different ways besides just shooting them with his guns. Okay? That remains an option. But he has to try all these different things. So attempt number 4, he just pulls a rope across the road. This is it.
Yeah.
Simple. And then he ends up just getting dragged along on his saddle with a confused look on his face because they plow right through the rope. No, they're never aware of his existence. Never.
Still.
To the end of the movie, they don't even know who he is. or that he's even after them. They think they've made it this whole way and no one's bothered them. They don't notice anything. Dude's just getting dragged along on his saddle behind him. No problem. We're good. Also, here's another. Okay, I'm trying not to be too picky because it's a dumb cartoon movie. But what the hell roundabout way is Stranger and Charmin taking that he can always end up back in front of them again, even after he's been left horribly behind, either crashed on a boat or dragged along on a saddle without his horse or wherever. Right. He's always then ahead of them. So
it would be funny if it would be true that he actually doesn't really know maps. So he's taking a very circuitous, round, wavy route.
Is that what's happening? Is the place actually 15 minutes away from Snake's End?
Well,
It was one train stop. She rode. She got 6 guys in before she got all the way to Snake's End, and then they've just been riding around the wilderness.
Yep.
There's a reason why she took the train, I guess. No, I think that Arnold kind of shows us that he doesn't know anything because when they go to camp the one night, he's trying to point the wagon to the north, so they don't lose their way. And she's like, or we could just follow the same road we've been following.
That we've been on.
Straight there.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe the road is just super curvy.
It could be.
So Slade's just moving straight across it.
Or it's a terrible script. Is that what you want us to say?
I mean, that's a possibility. I love it, but it's a possibility.
Okay.
All right. So here we go.
Anyone thought anyone would care about how he's getting in front of them.
It just dawned on me as I'm watching this going, he just is always in front of them.
Yeah.
Like every time.
In the Looney Tunes universe.
Yeah.
Roadrunner's a million miles an hour and you just keep going. Wiley's still there.
No.
Always,
yeah. Right. Which respect. That's fine. All right. Look, here we go. We get to camp for the night and she sets up, the bed, hoping for some action. She goes up to him. Yeah. Charmin is like, I think I'm going to take a bath and take the hair whip and everything. And he goes, let me get the wood. And Charmin's there going, that's what she's trying to say. Okay, this whole time.
She even offers
I just thought
for
of
him
the
to
other
wash her back, right?
That's what she's
right. Well, she says, what are you going to do? And my son who came in, Max, he's smart kid, goes, he's going to get to the chopper because he's going to go cut wood. And I was like, 20 points for my son.
He's going to get to the chopping of the wood.
Yep. Maxwell.
I love it.
Smarty.
10 points. Mm-hmm. Rack that kid up even though he's not here. Perfect.
I can't. I'm counting the other thing.
Let him know we gave him one of these.
There we go.
Good job, buddy.
Right. All right. So she goes behind a tree to get her chesticles out while he goes to chop some wood.
She throws so many clothing items on the tree. Just so many pieces.
All of them. I mean, I know you wore a lot of layers back then, but it didn't seem like she was wearing a lot of layers specifically. You were a French horn player before.
Yeah.
What the hell was with this trumpet music that started up in this moment? Did you recognize this? It was just like very aggressive. And I'm like, what in the hell is happening? It's been an easy breezy score through the whole movie. And then this moment where she's disrobing and we have Kirk Douglas at the top of a cliff trying to lean as far as he can just to get a glimpse at Harold and Kumar down there. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think we all know what you're saying.
Okay. And just holding onto this branch for dear life, and he can't. The whole time there's this really loud trumpet going off.
I didn't hear it. I mean, I'm sure I heard it, but it didn't stay in my brain.
It didn't register. And then, of course, the thing gives way, and you get the classic delayed Wile E. Coyote delayed fall, where you have to look at the thing in your hand.
It's so dumb.
and then I was like, all right, I appreciate it, because that's the kind of thing we were hoping they would do in the last one, right?
Yeah.
And then he this is a swan dive right into the water, and nobody notices that he's there.
Nope. And there was so much going on otherwise that they wouldn't have heard a loud splash.
No.
Well, she thinks that it's Arnold, though, because she does ask if it's Handsome Stranger.
But she's right there.
Right.
Turn around and look. She's facing the water with her towel.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
Nice try, though. I like that. Great work.
It's a dumb script.
Later in bed, Charmin.
She's very nearsighted.
Didn't have glasses in her town.
I was going to say in her towel.
Also not there.
That either.
All right. So later on, they're in bed together, and Arnold's like, I've been looking at you, okay, and you're lovely. And she says, have you ever been with a girl? And he goes, what does he say?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm going to get more wood. I'm like, no, you're not. Is that what Arnie's doing to distract himself? Yeah, I want him to cut over and there's a 70-foot wood pile over there. Do you know
Me
what,
too.
do you know what I'm saying?
Chopping wood.
Like he just, every time it gets a little too hot under the collar, he just says like, I'm going to get more wood immediately.
That's awesome.
Just
I
saying.
think that's I've got a lot of energy. I need to burn it
It's
up.
got to burn it all.
It's important to have hobbies.
That's right. And sometimes I chop the wood, and sometimes I tackle a horse.
This is a movie we actually watched.
I know. Attempt number 5. Now, Kirk Douglas. It's the next day, and he's dropped a lasso. He's got a loop and a rope, and he drops a lasso from a branch up above them, which hooks the wagon wheel and just pulls him up and over the branch, and he hits the freaking ground again.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, can we be more creative at least? I mean, if you want to do the Wile E. Coyote thing, some of these attempts have been creative. The last two, you're just pulling ropes across and dropping ropes in. Like, where's the rocket skates?
We've got $5 million to work with here, guys.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you could. What are some of the classic Wile E. bits that he would do?
Yeah, he would have like a rocket on his back.
A rocket. He'd tie himself to a rocket. What were you saying?
Yeah, drop an anvil.
He drop it.
Yep.
Try
There were no anvils in this movie, and they could totally have used an anvil.
Yeah, those are cheap, right?
Well,
Big
they're
hammer.
They're heavy.
They're heavy.
And they're
It's
heavy.
like the thing that you hit on, but
Yeah.
they would be in that.
Have it tied.
Time.
Have an anvil tied on a rope
Yeah.
above the road. Just like
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote. When he would.
Another one of the classics is they would like paint a tunnel on a building.
Yeah, well,
That was fake.
Oh,
But then like they would just go right through it. Then they would go and check, but they
Yeah.
would hit it like
Yeah. Classic.
But
Why don't they
that's
do
stuff
that?
you can't do in a
There's-
real live action movie.
Slingshot.
The one
Slingshot.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that would have been great.
My favorite Wile E. one is where it was like a big giant spatula, and he just torque it back, put himself on it like it's going to launch
Yeah.
him like a trebuchet, but it would just
Bam.
right
Yeah.
back
Face
into the
down.
ground.
Down.
Come
That
on.
would have been good.
Pile of birdseed.
Yeah. Yeah, protein milk,
powder.
protein powder.
Whey powder.
It's just way. Hold on a second. What is this? You stay here, okay?
Ooh, piece of protein.
Oh yes, and he still pecks it like a bird
Yeah.
in the middle of the road.
I think that is the sin of this movie.
It's going to pump you up.
You up.
Sorry, what's the sin of the movie?
They didn't go far enough. They didn't lean into it enough.
Exactly.
I think that.
They tried to stay too, like,
Yeah, they leaned into it more than Wagons East did,
right.
but they didn't lean into it enough for it to be more effective.
They didn't go full like Mel Brooks.
Right. They were naming people after Looney Tunes creators. Some of the characters are named after Looney Tunes creators. So they're
Handsome
like
Stranger?
They're not trying to be secretive about what they're doing.
Right.
Right.
So go for it.
Yeah. Just
Right?
do it.
Cut
I
it
would
loose.
go as far as to say this is something I was going to say later, but I'm saying
Yeah, say it now.
Same script could have actually been a funny movie. I think if it was just a different director, and
Different director.
different actors.
And just done differently.
Yeah,
Right.
like it honestly, like some of the jokes as written, I was like, "That's good, that's good, that's
Yeah.
funny, that's funny," but it didn't like
The execution.
work.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they needed another $5 million to really make it
Yep.
Yeah.
come together.
Let's all raise it
do that.
and then redo it.
Attempt number 6 now. He's got his horse holding a release stick on that said giant boulder that he just, I don't know, went and collected from earlier. I mean,
It's a new boulder.
Chased it down.
he chased it down.
They're
Hey, we've
everywhere.
got this.
Got a
boulder.
job for
I
you.
think it was the same boulder that was pissed off because he just wants to roam free. Because as soon as he lets this thing go, it chases Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
Like it goes past the road, misses them, of course, and then comes back around and chases. Like he turns to chase him specifically.
Yeah.
Down. I think the boulder specifically hated Kirk Douglas and had a vendetta against him, and this is the movie I wanted to see: Jack versus Boulder.
It's
Right.
It's just Boulder, the name of the movie. It's the
Perfect.
entire backstory, the origin story.
Cash the check. How much
the
money you want to
beginning.
make? Let's honestly.
At least $20.
Yeah, tens.
Tens
Like
of
tens of
dollars.
dollars.
All right, attempt number 7. Here we go. Boulder didn't work.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah, me too. So here's a Looney Tunes classic. From the hardware store, he has a bucket of paint. Okay.
Yep. And a brush.
And he paints a tunnel into the side of a mountain.
Right.
Runs back, giddy as a schoolgirl. Wait till they ride over here. Turns the street sign to point towards the thing.
What does he think is going to happen here? Does he think the horses are literally going to just run into a wall?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
And if they do,
Then the horses will be knocked out.
the horses are knocked out. That's it.
Well, then maybe
Arnold's
they'll
still up
flip-
and good to go.
But then they could talk.
Arnold's going to take the horse and throw it at like
The term is yeet, first of all.
He's gonna do.
Second of all,
I'm going to yeet this horse at you. And then I'm going to get more wood. And then you're going to get more wood. Sorry.
I was going to say that I think if a cart that I was on with horses hit into a wall fast, I also would get injured at least.
Yes, but she had built-in airbags.
it's fair.
So she's
too.
going to be fine. Okay? Don't get upset with me. Nicole, they were the main characters of the movie, and they did that on purpose. They put them out there.
Yes, they did.
So I'm not like,
funny.
you know,
It was funny.
making something out of nothing. This was like, they had a higher billing than she did. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ann-Margret's breasts, then Ann-Margret, Kirk Douglas.
It was reminiscent of Werewolves Within.
A bit.
What?
I don't know. I have
The
to
Friends
find
and
a-
Family Plan.
The Friends and Family Plan, yeah. Fair. All right. Paints tunnel. All right. Then the movie, at this point, it's like you know what's going to happen, but at the same time, you don't think they're actually going to do
can't
it, right?
do it,
They can't
right.
actually do it because this is still a world where time and space exists, but it doesn't because here the movie enters a dimension where time and space doesn't exist because they turn and Arnold and Ann-Margret just drive straight into the tunnel and through the mountain.
But the road wasn't there.
Right.
Like, where does it go? That's why it took them so long to get where they're going.
Nothing. Now you just come out on the other side of the mountain.
It's a portal, and you know it.
A portal to where?
The other side of the mountain.
You think there was instantaneous?
I think it was a hilarious scene because of what it's
Right.
referencing.
They're still supposed to have been going the other way. The sign was pointing the other way. They go through a mountain. The next scene they're driving
There's
along,
no
and
sign at all.
I don't know where they're going, but it's not home because they just went through a mountain.
Ann-Margret obviously has a good sense of direction. Charming told him exactly how to get. I think they'll be just fine.
Charming. She can drive through the mountains and
See-
still know where she is. She's charming.
The reason James has a problem with this is because men don't stop and ask for directions, so they'd just be screwed.
That's right, I guess.
It's true.
You don't see it as a problem because you would just ask.
And so of
Look at
course,
the sun. And
of course, Jack then runs into it and face plants right
Yep.
into it because this is a Looney Tunes cartoon, and that's what he's supposed to do. All right, so now we're at attempt number 8. 8. He's up on the cliff again, and he throws he makes a grappling hook out of a log, basically ties it to the end of the rope, throws it into a tree and pulls on it, hands it to his horse,
Hold this tight.
who he knows hates his guts, and goes, pull this tight. He's going to shimmy across this rope, and the horse is like, screw you, bud, and
Wait.
just
Is-
faces him right into a cliffside.
Is this even an attempt or him just
Yeah,
trying to get a
he's
shortcut?
he's doing it. I'm assuming to make an attempt on them, but it fails
Okay.
before it even starts. I'm
I thought he was
giving him
just trying to
credit
do a
for it.
shortcut. Okay.
No, I'm giving
call
him
it 8.
credit for the 8th
I don't
one.
care.
They didn't care.
Nobody cares.
Why should I care?
It's very important.
Charming. They don't care about nothing in this movie, so I don't either. Chisholm.
John Chisholm.
Can you imagine all the money James has ever made from doing scores for movies?
You know you want to go home and watch Chisholm.
It's a good movie.
what's the next one about in the script?
I want to say this. I forgot to say this because I'm so excited about going through all these movies or these attempts. When they were riding up to the street sign to go into the
Yeah.
into the mountain portal to Narnia, wherever
Yep,
the hell they were
that's
going.
Right.
You hear some 80-yard guy going, "Yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "That's not Arnold." Like if you
Go
get
on now.
if you have Arnie in your movie, you have to ADR somebody going, like he couldn't make that sound if you paid him $10 million. He couldn't go, "Yeah,
Right.
yeah." I don't. Oh,
Well,
they're
it
coming.
is the
whiskey.
word yes in German, so maybe he could.
Yeah, yeah. It would at least be that, Yeah, right. And I'm just like, whoever that is, that ain't Arnold
amazing.
Schwarzenegger.
I love it.
That's not him. Sorry, buddy. And you could tell too that it wasn't him. Like, I don't know if he wasn't there that day or whatever, because they kept all the shots very far away when they actually drove through the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever that noodle arm stunt guy driving the horses was not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But
He was not there.
beautiful scenery
Yes.
in the film.
Well, because they had the camera back in Cleveland for that shot.
They needed it. I mean, they were obviously sending this horse at speed through
Yes.
a small tunnel. I don't think you would have your
No, I got you.
actors.
All right, Jack finally gets rid of the book. He's like, no more. I'm just going to do things my way from now on. And so he meets up with the Indian chief, a.k.a. native cosplayers, a.k.a. Nervous Elk, played by Paul Lynde, who was certainly
It was
perfect for this.
He was Templeton. I could not get over the fact that was Templeton from Charlotte's Web.
Yes, it
Like,
was.
what the
That's
heck?
who it was.
I was like, every time he spoke, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The fare is a veritable smorgasbord.
It says crunchy.
It's like, oh my God, it's him.
Can't believe
This
you've
is
never done
amazing.
an impression on this show, but the one impression you do is Paul Lynde from Charlotte's Web.
Nailed it.
It's super common, you guys.
That's so
Everybody does that.
That's not normal.
You bust out a killer Paul Lynde. I did not have that on my bingo card.
Beautiful.
Wow. All right. He goes over to talk to him. I come to speak to the great chief with straight tongue,
Using hand gestures.
using hand gestures and stuff.
Which-
Which
Audio
he
podcast
wasn't
things.
making up like on the spot. He actually like seemed to have it choreographed. And I
Yes.
was like, he spent time on that.
He did.
Yeah.
It's quite
but-
fluid and beautiful.
Even the chief was like, stop talking with your hands. Okay.
Yep.
And here's the weird thing Paul Lynde was doing is he, even though it wasn't great, he would try to do a native accent, and then eventually he would. But then every once in a while he would say a line like very Jewish,
Yeah.
Right.
Himself.
Yeah.
like
As
himself, basically, right?
If Schwarzenegger can do it,
Out of nowhere,
I guess he can.
I guess. All right. Anyway, he goes, I'm not trying to. He tells the natives, I'm not trying to do anything to the handsome stranger. In fact, I want to do him a kindness. I'm going to give him this horse. I just want to rape the woman that he's with. I mean, this is what he says.
Yeah.
I hear you.
It's
not wrong.
crazy. The movie here takes a hard left.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been real tongue in cheek,
Yep.
Looney Tunes friendly, and all of a sudden they're talking about, hey, what do you do with white women when you capture them? I don't know. They always shoot themselves in the head before I get a chance. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell movie is this
Yeah.
all of a sudden?
Yep.
It just went out of nowhere. It went crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
It was like,
I wondered if he was improvising and they're like, keep it, it's gold.
keep it, it's gold. Yeah,
kids
murder
will
chicks.
love this.
Chicks murder themselves before you can do anything to them. I hear that's how it is out here in the wilderness. What is happening? Okay, cool. Well, no, there was one girl that shot him in the balls.
Right.
All right. Hilarious.
And then he makes And then he makes a joke about having sex with a cactus or something stupid.
that's right.
It was just
And
stupid.
That was kind of humorous. Like number 4th on my list of funny things is the fact that he gets Cactus Jack wrong every time.
Yes.
Says it different.
It's like Mr.
He's
Belvedere.
never heard the song.
Remember that? Mr. Belvedere?
I remember Mr. Belvedere, yes.
And he would say, there's a kid who would say, Mr. Butterfinger, Mr. and he'd always get it wrong.
Dude, I haven't seen that in forever.
It was set in my hometown of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
That's why
Although it wasn't like filmed there, but that's
Yeah.
where they said it was.
they have Mr. Belvedere Con conventions.
Not yet, they should.
Every year over there.
Yep.
I mean, if that's the one thing the town's known for, why not lean
And
into
Nicole.
And
it? See if they can get Benson over there.
Bunsen, yes.
Bunsen and Honeydew or whatever. Bunsen Honeydew. Cantaloupe. I don't know. Something. Meep, meep. Yeah.
Bunsen and Beaker.
That, there.
Please. I would love them. All right. So the Indians say, we'll help you out. Okay. We'll get you this chick. Another campsite scene for Charmin and Handsome Stranger. And Charmin is like, all right. Last night, time to pull out the big guns. And like the big guns have been out the entire movie. I don't know what you're going to do at this point. But she basically snuggles up next to him and, you know, Ann-Margret's trying to show him the Golden Globes she won or whatever. And he's just like,
He wrote this down.
he goes, oh, what are you going to do? This is, I was for a second. She goes, what are you going to do? And he goes, let's do some knock jokes.
That might be what I was talking about that my son said at some point. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And that's when she goes, I'm going to go get some firewood.
That's when it was.
That's it.
Get to the chopper.
I sadly have to guess that in that moment, knock jokes in the history of mankind has probably never worked once to seal the deal.
I'm going to say once. I'm going to say once.
Once somewhere. Just the math alone.
A very happy couple.
Yeah. All right, fine.
wish
Attempt
them
number
well.
9. Here we go. They're going to attack with the Indians, but only at dawn.
Yeah, only at dawn. We don't attack before dawn.
No.
But they're driving now. It's like, this is going to get dicey for a while. We're
right.
entering Indian country.
That's right.
It's like Indian County. It's
Which is important.
Plot point.
Attack with the Indians, but only at dawn. And that's all they're lined up. The natives are there, and he goes, "Are you sure your braves are up to the challenge?" And I'm sitting here going, "Why wouldn't they be?" What I didn't expect is that they would decide that the joke would be that none of them can ride a
Yeah.
horse.
That I was sad. I was like, come on.
This doesn't make any sense. If there's one thing they can famously do very well, it's ride horses. And as soon as they all line up, he goes, "Charge!" And they all just fall all over each other and all over themselves.
Yeah.
And there's like 4 left that can be mobile. at that
I
point.
was hoping that it was because, and I was hoping I had missed that he gave some stupid instructions and they tried following it and then that didn't work. But
that's not what happened.
it is not.
No. 4 natives continue in chase after Arnie, who starts screaming at his horses in German, which I really enjoyed. "Wag schnell!" And he's very worried, but Charmin is just like, "Oh, look out, they're going to get us."
Why are we going so slow?
I don't
These horses
know.
are very tired.
I think they heard your knock jokes. And what Arnie doesn't know is that the reason she's so calm is because they're about to cross the county line, the Indian county line.
Yeah.
And so they have to stop chasing you because it's out of their jurisdiction. Is that the joke?
Looks like them Duke boys got themselves in a whole heap of trouble.
Oh my gosh, guys.
It was dumb.
Get back over here where you belong. I almost did the Indian with like Arnold accent. Get back over here where you belong. All right.
Daisy Duke in here on the way out.
Attempt number 10. What are we up to? You keeping up track here? We're on attempt number 10, and I only see 8 up there. All right. Attempt
Now
number
it's 10.
Dude shows up with a barrel of Acme glue, the most viscous glue I've ever seen
Yeah.
Gloppy.
poured at the railroad crossing, which
Just Gatorade.
just
Yellow Gatorade.
brown Gatorade.
Sure.
It was so loud when he's dumping it. It's like,
Extra breakfast gravy.
Sure.
And of course, we know what's going to happen. I mean, you know what's going to happen. They drive right through it, no problem.
But that's what happens with cartoons as well.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
what's
so,
gonna
but at this point, because they've gone to the well so many times, it's not funny
Yeah.
anymore to me. So they just drive right through it. Then he goes, "Oh, what the hell is going on over here?" Stands in it, not sticking, stands there and thinks about it for longer.
Then you take off
he
your
sti-
boots. Is what you do right then.
Just take your feet out of your boots.
Yep.
he would have to take his pants off too, because if you remember,
Oh, that's right.
attached.
It's one piece.
And when it gets hit, he ends up so high on the train. He's way higher than his feet were.
Also, the train transformed into a different train.
Yep.
So
But he
there
looked
was.
like he was really enjoying himself, actually.
he did.
Kirk was having a great time.
We're like,
We're going to duct tape you to the front of a train now. Is that cool?
he shows up. He
Do
looks
it.
at the shot
love
list. You know?
trains.
I'm Spartacus.
He's looking at the shot list. What are we doing now? We want to tie you to this train, and we're just going to drive it. Okay. They put all of a sudden a crossbar appeared on the train for him to hold on to that wasn't there before. The entire train was different than the one that hit him. It was just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Miraculously, he's able to get off the train, get his horse and his boots unstuck, and still get to Charmin's house before they do.
Charming. Charming.
Charmin. Charming.
There it is. Much better.
She's sad that her boobies did not get her laid. She's charming. Charming. Is that better?
Moderately.
I'm sorry, I just summed up the entire plot in one sentence. Miraculously, he gets there. He finds a barn full of blasting powder, brings some into the house because he finds it in the barn, brings
Fast
some into the
forward
house
mode.
in fast forward mode.
7 barrels. Casks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
pours a trail of gunpowder back out to the barn where all the other gunpowder is.
Right.
Okay.
Reasonable.
Okay.
Got that?
I got it.
Everybody got it? Okay. But before they can go home for the finale, we have to pause the movie for a joke about a horse taking a crap in a flushable outhouse.
Yep.
His wife wrote that one. He put it in.
Okay.
So dumb.
They get home. Arnie says, "Is this weird that there's all this blasting powder here?"
Honestly, I could care less.
I thought it would have been funny if he got home and Arnie been like, "Okay, now I will have sex with you." And then just out of nowhere, he's suddenly down and now she's not interested. Right?
Because of the knock-knock joke.
Like he
Set it
just
up, yeah.
they set it up because he just wanted to complete his job and not get sidetracked. But now that the job is complete,
It's on.
let's go. But now she doesn't want to. Like that would have
would've
been
been
a great way to
really funny.
close that loop. But
But they had a better way.
no, they had a much better way. He even though he notices the blasting powder, he lights the lantern. It's middle of the day, but lights the lantern, drops the match, lights the trail.
I have a problem here.
No.
Yeah, he dropped the match in the middle of the trail. It would have gone both ways and blown up both sides.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously. That's whatever, cartoons.
And well, even as he's pouring it out, it breaks the trail every time he goes down the step.
down the step.
And it's like, well, that's not doing anything. But it's a cartoon, so I try to like look past all that
Yep,
stuff. But
yep.
it's yes, problematic, for sure.
That's the only reason this movie is.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything else about the movie was dialed. That right there is over the edge.
Whiskey.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, I'm going to do it. Ann-Margret was over the edge of her dress. All right, so you set me up. Whiskey saves Jack by kicking him out of the barn.
Yes.
Okay. And then the barn explodes. And this is the first time they run out of the house. And this is the first time they're even aware of Jack's existence. Right here. This is when Jack runs up and goes, "One more step and I'll ventilate you." And he's got his guns. I'm like,
And
oh,
that's great.
the one
Finally.
that you should have done from the first point. Hold them up with your gun.
Yes.
Right? Imagine that. Nobody outsmarts Cactus Jack Slade. Or, and hear me out, literally anybody does.
Either way.
Literally anyone.
The horse has been doing it the whole time.
Right.
He's like his police partner, the horse is. And he's like, I don't want to be your partner, but I have to save your life by kicking you.
And
Idiot.
out of this entire crazy ass movie where I was ready for just about anything. I couldn't, given a million guesses, I could not have guessed how they were going to end this
Right?
movie. Not a million guesses.
No way, no how, not ever.
I loved it because it was so insane. It was one of the best endings of any BMR movie we've ever covered on this show. My favorite of all time being Robot Jocks, where it was just like, we can both live, and they fist bump, and that's the end of the movie, okay? This one's right up there. She goes, hold on, walks over to Kirk Douglas, right? She's hush puppies on a leash, and she comes up to him and goes, "What are your intentions?" And Arnold answers and says, "To do the right thing and make sure justice is done." And then he says, "I'm going to shoot him and I'm going to take that money." And she goes,
And then
and then I'm going to ravage you. And so she says, "You lose, Artie," and just starts making out with Kirk Douglas.
Turning him into Daffy Duck.
Yes.
Which then is him bouncing on trampolines on every ceiling of every building.
And credits.
With proper Looney Tunes while he's bouncing.
music,
Bam.
And he racks his nuts on the top of the barn,
Yep.
whips his head around, end credits.
And then
Yes.
it gets back into the villain.
He's the villain.
And I was
Played
like,
the whole movie.
He
in fast
why
racks
did
forward.
I
his
not
nuts on the
catch?
top of a barn. He's the villain. Sorry.
I was like, why did I not understand that he's the main character of this movie?
Yeah.
I kept wanting Arnold to be.
Right.
Honestly, I didn't care once, not once, what happened to Jack Slade. Not once. And I sure as hell didn't think at the end that she was going to be like, LOL, bye to Arnie and go off with him. And and then we were supposed to be thrilled that that's the
That's the ending.
resolution of the movie.
Yay,
Did
she
they
gets to
think-
have sex now.
That's what I'm saying. What threads were they trying to tie? Is that the through line? Her quest for sex? Were we supposed to be cheering for him this whole time?
I mean, don't you in the Roadrunner cartoons? Don't you cheer for Wile E. Coyote? We want him to win.
Yes, but there's something
But he doesn't
wonderful
want
and
to
magical
break
about Wile E.
something.
Coyote that Kirk Douglas doesn't quite achieve.
Great.
He's not trying to
this.
eat the Roadrunner.
Right. You
Nope.
you eventually, I think with Wile E. Coyote, you eventually feel some kind of sympathy for his patheticness.
Right.
Right? Where it's like you don't want a Roadrunner to die, but you feel terrible for him because he's just trying so hard.
And he's scrawny. He's like,
Right.
you know,
Hungry.
Needs a meal.
yeah.
You know.
But he's fast. Like he takes care of himself.
Yeah. Whereas this guy, they made his motivation about robbing and killing somebody. And so I'm going to care
Bless you.
far less. Nicole just sneezed her headphones off of her head. That was incredible.
That was perfect.
Guys, I'm not kidding. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's how it ended.
Yeah.
I think people walked out feeling like I watched the whole time and that's how it ended.
Right. This is what made me, so I had to rethink the entire thing and go, okay, hold on. What was I supposed to be thinking and feeling? Right?
Yep.
Man, it's hot in here.
It is.
It is.
I'm glad you said it. I was like,
It's been 3 episodes. You guys haven't been here, but it's the last 3 episodes. You've been here for all of them.
Yeah, sure is hot in this rhino.
We don't have control of our AC.
oh, okay.
It controls the whole building. They have to come in and switch it to the air.
Oh,
And they haven't done it yet.
I'll call him with the
By
next
by next winter, I'll have you control of your own air conditioning,
I
James.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I will. That's the end of the movie, right? Okay, we're on to awards. Thank God. Normally we talk about how would Arnold make this movie better.
Well, how could
By saying no.
He did. We did. No, he made it. But imagine this movie without Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Is it even remotely entertaining? Because I still got some enjoyment from Arnie being Arnie in the movie, right?
It would have been hard to watch if
Right. Like imagine that's Burt Reynolds.
right.
I will disagree and say I think a different comedic actor could have made it funnier with how oblivious. I think. I know. I'm sorry, James. But I think it could be funnier with an actual comedic actor.
He is a comedic actor.
Put the
mean-
actual Roadrunner in there. Meep, meep. Better.
I think it could have been more fun with Arnold Schwarzenegger in a different role.
As Jack.
As Jack Slade?
No.
So that he actually gets the girl at the end.
No, he could be
No.
whiskey.
He could be the
Brian's Arnold. I mean, it could have.
Nay. What's nay in German?
All right, Cam Sully playing on says,
9.
Used to joke that this could have. I used to joke this could have been a Terminator alternate reality movie where the T-800 got assigned to the wrong timeline, but it would even
protect
better if it was 90s era Arnie in a dual role as both his role and Kirk's with aged makeup. Change it to be a father-son lawman duo. Bonus points if Tia Carrera from True Lies could play Ann-Margret's role. Arnie versus Arnie. But it's also the T-800. I got lost in the middle of that metaphor, I think. But if the T-800 showed up, he would have just... I can't. Nicole's already mad at me how many sex jokes I've made. I can't make any more. Just one rule. Come with me if you want to have sex, because he's not doing it. Sorry.
I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
She's very disappointed.
That's even worse when
Just
mom's disappointed. That's even worse. I don't know if you realize, but you're basically the mom of the show. So,
Thank you.
well, it's not Bob.
Right. He was super close, but
Okay. Ranger Hicks said, I have a little more to say about Arnold in this movie, but I'm waiting for my final verdict. I will say this much at least. If Arnold wasn't in the movie, it would have been worse. So congratulations, panel. We found a movie besides Red Sonja that Arnold technically made better just by being in it.
I think every movie we've done so far that he's been in.
That's right. Was better
Except
because
for
he
this
was
one.
in it.
Well, no, I mean,
I still think
yes.
to take Arnold out of this, it sucks hard.
I'm not saying that there isn't somebody else who could have done what he did and made it. That's
right.
Pulled
They just
through
needed to
somewhat
give him
better.
more to do. They needed to give him more dialogue. I needed 5 more monologues about his life. When she says, talk to me about anything. And he just goes in the big long thing and he tells his whole story about how he grew up on a goat farm. And like, you know, his whole, I just want to like
Right.
all of that. I think at this point,
if you can use the word beholden a lot, I'd be
Beholden.
fine with that.
perfect. We're not going to spend as much time on this as we usually do because he's already in the movie. But unless you've got other thoughts about it, I mean, I think it's proof positive of our primary thesis of this show.
I agree.
Thank you.
I think
the
he'd be
entire
really
purpose
good
of this
as
show.
the lady who walked across the street. That's his other role.
You want him to play Ruth Buzzy's part? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
All right, let's move on to the actual awards, guys. This is the most prestigious award we give out. It's the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember
John Chisholm.
the night they beat the Titans.
You guys should go watch that.
I think John Chisholm's about to win.
What are you doing with a gun in space?
They're about to win. He's about to win. He's not even in this movie.
Spartacus.
Spartacus. Kirk Douglas.
Yes, he's turned up through.
You think
thing.
so?
He's over the top. He's given it everything. He may not have been told to give it the right things, but he gave all of it.
All right. I don't agree. But
That's
I
all right. You don't have to agree.
I respect it. You're not the only one that voted for him. In fact, DJ Campbell.
You're not the only one that was wrong.
Said Kirk Douglas, aka Cactus Jack Dude, embodied the spirit of Wile E. Coyote.
Yes.
100%. So that's right off the bat, 2 votes for him. Here we go. Nicole, who was your actor that really went for it?
The one who played the bank owner, I think his name is
The guy
Jack.
with the one eye was trying to escape. That guy.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He went
Yeah.
horde, as you would say, right? Jack Elam, I think.
Yes.
Avery Simpson, I think is.
Yeah. Named after Chuck Avery from Looney Tunes.
Sure.
That's, again, one of the names they put in
Amazing.
there for that reason. Yeah, good pick. Cam Sully went with Ann-Margret. She was true to her name, but by leaving heavily into the charisma, she truly did showcase the most effort against all other personas. So that's a vote for Ann-Margret. Guys, I went Arnold Schwarzenegger with this vote. I legitimately think Arnold was intensely trying to play the shit out of this part and he took it seemed to me he took the role very seriously.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is amazing.
Yeah.
And 100% of everything he does.
Yeah.
I think legitimately he was just talking his
Yeah.
lines through this movie. He didn't do any real acting. That's his voice. You have to try to do that voice. He's just doing it. That's just his voice. That's all he did.
But that's only anybody ever does is just
Right.
talk their lines through a
Right.
movie. You've just described
Doing a
every
great job.
performance in every
No.
movie
Yeah.
There's more.
ever.
No.
Oh, I'm not trying to like boil acting down into
Did you see what
something
he just said?
So listen, actors are hacks. All they do is
There it
play
is.
pretend.
All right, now I'm fine.
Okay.
That's right.
And speak their lines. Right? Like, did you ever
what I'm
hear
saying is, what did he do?
Well, here's what he did. He sat down in the stagecoach
And avoided eye contact?
and he avoided eye contact, tried not to look at her
you're right.
boobs.
Never mind. I'm going to change my vote.
Okay.
You're right. That was probably very, very
It was
difficult.
very difficult. That you understand why the man had to stare dead ahead the entire movie like this. Like, damn right he wins my
He
Will
was
Patton
trying to
Award.
stay out of these.
Little Power Award.
Yeah, wait, no, I'm not on the right panel.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much.
Problem. Let me go back to the awards here. Killing it over here.
That's a really good point, James.
Thank you. Nathan Broderick also playing along went Kirk Douglas. Look, this movie was cartoony, silly. It would have not been funny had Kirk Douglas not played it straight. I didn't think he was playing it straight. I thought he was a little too winky.
And that's, I think, where some of the trouble comes is from
Yeah.
dancing the line.
But you're welcome to your opinion, brother.
Yep.
If he had been in on the joke, this movie would have failed. But he was all in, and the seriousness with which he approached the absurdity made this movie more than the sum of its parts. As we head over to Madela, what's the doctor got?
I said Ruth
Bader Ginsburg.
Bro, she's the damsel in distress.
Oh, when she should get up off the stretcher? Yeah.
Yeah, she gets up off the stretcher. She's yelling at him. They get her up into the room up above, and she's throwing stuff out.
Yep.
Those aren't her pots.
Yeah,
That's not
she
her
was
house she
mad.
took her
But she
into.
didn't have to huck him that way.
No.
She used
Good one.
everything.
Ranger Hicks back in the saddle again, and he goes, look, this movie was kind of hard to find an intense actor in the way that, Will Patton does things. However, sometimes when this happens, I think to myself, who is the person that can't be replaced? And the truth of the matter is, without a doubt, it's Kirk Douglas. I never realized the man had these kind of comedy chops. But in my defense, the only other movie I ever saw him in was that comedy was Greedy with Michael J. Fox and Phil Hartman. So yeah, I think that's my choice. I mean, it's where I'm planting the flag. I don't think this movie would be as entertaining if Kirk wasn't Cactus Jack. So that means Kirk Douglas is going to win the Will Patton Award for intensity.
Seems reasonable.
So lots of votes for your guy over there, buddy.
I will say that if this was a stage production,
Yeah.
not a stagecoach production, I know, I'm so funny.
Oh, good for you.
There
Yeah,
it is.
that's appropriate. That I think he would have, if he had done the same thing, it would have done even better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It works on stage for
Yeah,
sure.
but like exactly the way he did it.
Spot on.
Yep.
That's a great take. The next award we give out is to the worst actor in the movie, the one who showed the range of a trash can filled with dirt, named after the trash can himself, Steven Seagal. It's the Trash Can Full of Dirt Award.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
That is
Love never dies,
a long time.
and neither does John Chisholm. John Chisholm's eternal, and that's a long time. Oh, I even tried to do the whammy bar.
I saw that. You're like,
Doesn't work that way.
Nope.
All right, Clint, who's your trash can?
The sheriff in town.
The sheriff, the guy that sits there and just goes, "Here's the keys."
Here's the key. Like, I need to see your prisoner. Grabs the keys. Like, alone. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good point. The bank manager can just decide who gets out of jail.
Yeah.
And the guy's like,
Yeah.
okay,
He was obviously useless.
yeah, totally. That's a good pick.
He was the hook on the wall with the keys.
Yeah, literally, that was his part.
Yeah.
Key holder. DJ.
like in the Caribbean. What's the movie with the
Ghostbusters.
No, Jack Sparrow
Rocketeer.
again.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
When there's the keys and the hook
Pirates
and
of
the
the
dog,
Caribbean.
isn't that? Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
not Rocketeer.
Nope.
Okay.
Nailed it.
You're so close.
Sorry, I'm just yelling random bodies of water.
Spider-Man.
Caribbean.
Second word sounds like
Spider-Man 2.
DJ Campbell said Paul Lynde. Wasn't a fan at all as a nervous elk. The voice had me think super white salesman, not Indian chief. P.S. I know it's a comedy, but still trash. Hard take from DJ Campbell as we go over to Nicole.
I'm afraid for my life.
Oh, dang.
Don't you dare.
Can I see that?
Don't.
Where's the flip-flop?
Where are the flip-flops?
We need this one right here. He can't have it.
Listeners, if you don't,
I don't think I would ever throw one at
see
Nicole.
anything about me on the internet for a while,
You're
check
not
on my
going to
family.
do what you're about to do. Miss, you never want to, you always give it to like,
Here, you can use mine.
you give it to like the tree that's outside the house of the main
All
character.
right, a
like,
tumble. No, it's the big boulder.
the big bold. You don't ever like to give it to a person, but you're going to sit here and hand it out to who I think you're about to hand this out to?
I was so hoping you got him to say it. That was close.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This is the funniest thing that's happened today.
I hope he does really well in life. I think he's a great dude. But in this film,
Where do we even go from here?
you just put the trash can right on the stagecoach, and she can pet that.
Where do we even go here, Nicole? We've been building something for 3 years. We're building a house, and every episode we add another board.
Right.
We build this house, and the house eventually going
They're
to
oak
become
boards.
a mansion built of oak, a mansion that is a testament to one man's quest to make every movie that he's ever appeared in, even movies he hasn't appeared in,
Right.
better. And in one fell swoop.
One swell food.
In one swell foop, you just want to come in and you want to burn down everything that we have spent years building.
You got to test things out to make sure they're strong, James.
Shame.
It's the dynamite on top.
It's just one
Of
vote,
the-
James. You wouldn't be worried about this if you weren't feeling worried about how he did. It's just one vote.
It's what that vote represents. It's the first crack in the dam. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, the dam's not going to collapse yet, but why is this crack here? That's concerning because there's a whole lot of water on the other side of that dam. And if that water gets through, where am I going with this?
Metaphors. I like that I felt, honestly, and I was kidding about being scared, but I like that this is a forum where I can feel that I can share what's in my mind.
So next week we are going to be doing another episode without Nicole.
Also, breaking news: there is an opening at BMR. So Cam Sully,
Just ignore it.
went Kirk Douglas. He's beyond diverse screen legend otherwise, but here he seemed disconnected in his close-ups and wasn't elevating the lead role, campy or not. So that's a shot fired at Kirk Douglas. Yeah. I am going with Paul Lynde, actually, as...
Totally.
Yeah. No, don't say totally, Nicole, after you
Makes
just gave it
sense.
to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You know, the reason I didn't...
Totally.
I
No,
didn't
totally.
though,
Paul Lynde, totally.
is because back then,
But Arnold.
I would say way back, but in 79, like he was killing it, you know, and that was, they hired him to do that bit, and that's like the bit they probably like wrote for him to do.
I don't think Arnold did exactly what they told him to do. Here, wear this tight outfit and,
Stare
and
forwards.
be muscly.
Ignore her. No,
I'm
I said
saying-
ignore her.
No, hold on.
5,800 takes a day
What I am saying
of
is
Arnold.
because obviously that role was not awesome. I mean, it was also problematic in lots of ways, right? So I want to point out that
He
that
is
blinders.
one man. Arnold is one man. And you want this guy in his third movie to do the equivalent of 1,500 takes of concentrating on staring forward and give a good performance at the same time. He does it.
You're gonna sit here 2 episodes after we record Varsity Blues and use one man. You're gonna refer to Arnold as one man just 2 episodes later.
he doesn't want your life.
Fair enough. All right. So that's a vote for Kirk Douglas, 2 votes for Paul Lynde, right? I'm just keeping the math going here. One for
one
Arnold,
vote for what?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What was that?
Nathan said, I honestly enjoyed everyone's performance, and I don't think anyone delivered a stinker. So I'll give this one to the pig in Kirk Douglas's bed because I didn't believe for a second that it was an actual woman. So was it supposed to be?
I hope not.
I don't know. The only way I would have liked that scene is
As if he was supposed to be Kermit.
if he had busted. I was going to say if he had busted the cover and it was Miss Piggy, then I would have been fine with it because I get wanting to get with Miss Piggy, but not with an actual.
Your
pig.
childhood was different,
It
bro.
was, dude. Who didn't have a crush on Miss Piggy when they watched the Muppets when they were 6?
What do you mean by that?
Do you want me to unpack that here? I don't think we have enough time to do that. I can unpack my deeply held attraction to Miss Piggy on another episode. Okay.
I watch enough Miss Piggy stuff now as an adult to be like, dude, run. Kermit, go. Go.
Yeah, for real. Find a
The
frog.
toxic relationship.
Yeah,
She was the one with all the makeup.
she was. Hicks says Jan Eady as the sheriff. Granted, this could be much more on the fault of the writing, but I can't help but look at the one scene Eddie is in. The freaking banker shows up. Let's Cactus Jack out of jail, and then just homeboy is like, "Oh, okay, here are your guns." Like he doesn't do anything about it, and I can't help but think, "Damn, this guy sucks as a sheriff." You could have legitimately had a trash can in the office, and then homeboy just pulls the jail key and jacks guns out of it and goes, "Here you go."
Yep.
Yep.
That's a second. So we got 2 for Paul Lynde and 2 for the sheriff as we go over to Dr. Matila.
So I didn't like Kirk Douglas's performance.
Ooh.
But I went with Paul Lynde because I hated his performance.
Let's go. Paul Lynde then is going to win, not Arnold, the Trash Can Full of Dirt Award. Yes.
We'll just
That's
go
a
and say
win
Arnold
for
is
BMR.
better than Paul Lynde.
And it's a win for America and for
Austria.
immigrants. It's a win for immigrants,
Because that's what this is about. This is about
Do you
immigrants.
want to hit that one?
which this one?
Yeah.
Should you play the Austrian national anthem?
Thank you, Arnold.
Thank you, Arnold. And thank you, everybody who's come to this country in search of a better life. Nicole doesn't care about you. All right. I don't want to paint you're giving him an award as anti-immigrant, but it kind of is.
I couldn't remember how to shoot this, and I was going to hurt myself. I was like, no. Thank you.
All right, I'm just kidding. She loves immigrants. She married one. So Jim's not from America, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I just got this sense of him like being very European.
I mean, his heritage is.
That's what I was saying. But he didn't come off a boat.
He did not.
Okay.
We didn't all get here off of boats, James.
Some people flew here, okay? Let's keep going with this for a while, please.
I just had like 5 different things I want to say, and I chose not to say any of them. All right.
Smart.
Here we go. Now the award we give is to the unsung hero, because there's no small parts, just small actors.
Yeah.
Who was this actor in a small role that said, I don't care if I have 4 lines. I don't care if I've got 2 scenes. We're going for this. Who is your unsung hero? It's the Steve James Award.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Yeah, right. Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
Clint, who's your pick?
We're not supposed to pick not actors and stuff, but
Yeah, I mean,
this one's whiskey. I'm sorry. This one
Yeah.
is absolutely whiskey.
I'm going to allow it.
It sounds like
Normally
it
I
shouldn't
don't.
be, but whiskey is such a big, it's a cartoony thing in the first
Yeah.
place. This horse is propping up every scene.
Technically, he's an actor.
Right.
Whose name is Ott, O-T-T.
Oh, there you go. And normally I hate when people give it to animals because they're like not really a big part of the movie, or they were in one scene.
Like in River Wild.
Yeah, but in most of the movies we talk
That's
about,
the wrong one.
they give it to
The fish.
No.
Whatever.
No, that's totally wrong movie. Same time, wrong movie.
Regardless,
I saw 2 movies in the theater that year.
this
and
is
I
a
picked the wrong
different
one.
situation with a normal animal in a movie,
Right.
so I'll allow it. All right.
The fall.
DJ, figure it out later. DJ Campbell says, Foster Brooks, a.k.a. the bank clerk, the drunk bank clerk. Dude had me laughing so hard with his drunken takes, and when he was standing there with his fingers in his ears and eyes closed when the TNT was lit. Come on, classic cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
So that's another vote, or that's 1 vote for the bank clerk and 1 vote for whiskey as we go to Nicole Freer.
I have a tie, but I'm not allowed those, but I'll just give an honorable mention.
Perfect.
The gentleman who was the stutterer, who was... Now I'm stuttering as I'm trying to think of who it was.
Yeah.
It says it here, ticket agent, Dick Armstrong. I thought he did
Yes.
a great job. That was
Awesome.
super. But there's an even smaller part that I really enjoyed. So when Cactus Jack was in the bar early on, soon after putting whiskey in his eyeball, he punches one person and then punches the other person, and then a guy hits him on the head with a wood plank.
Yeah.
And says something about, and that's a 2x4. And he did great. I love that guy.
Yep.
Good job, him.
I love it. I love that you picked him. That's great. Cam goes Strother Martin as Parody Jones, Charmin's dad. He was competent yet likable straight man while giving the proper exposition for the loose plot. That's being generous to continue. I always remember him from True Grit. He was like horse salesman that sold the young woman in that movie, the original with John Wayne, not the remake, a horse. And that's as soon as I saw him, like, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Nice.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm going with whiskey. Also,
right.
I think and maybe that's annoying because you guys didn't think he was an option, but you can change it if you want to. I'm making an allowance here. Whiskey was as much of a character as Jack was.
Yes.
As they were going across the country, and he killed it. And I felt more for that horse. The whole time you're supposed to care about Jack, I felt more about that horse and him dealing with. I'm like, no, leave him in the barn. Whiskey, run away. Leave him in the barn.
Find a filly.
Find a filly somewhere, right? So that's who I'm going with. Nathan went with Paul Lynde. I don't know why, but I always found him hilarious. My father could never stand him, but there's something about his delivery that cracked me up.
Your father was a wise man.
Yes, sorry, Nathan. I also can't. But
Thank you for giving us your
that's
opinion
right.
that we
Absolutely.
respect.
There's something about his delivery that cracked me up. He was gold in every scene he was in, and it was the highlight of the film for me. So this is what I love about the subjective nature of film. Madela, what you got?
So since whiskey's on the table,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
All
I'll
right.
go with whiskey.
Who was your honorable mention then? Who were you going to go
The
with?
Telegraph guy.
Telegraph guy was good too. So shout out and respect to him. But yeah, whiskey was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Look, Ranger Hicks says another award that's kind of hard to figure because I actually felt the majority of the players in the movie had an even amount of time to chew up scenery. It was well spread, like a perfectly ratioed peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The man paints a picture.
Yeah.
Okay. He loves his final review here at the end. We give our final ratings. Is probably the longest final rating that's ever been typed and sent to me. But he's such a good writer that I don't care. So by default, I will give it to him, my fellow clerk brethren, because he was in exactly one scene and did the job he was supposed to do. Be really drunk. Ah, yes. If I had a nickel for every time I got robbed while drunk at work, I would have exactly 2 nickels.
which isn't a lot. But it's strange that it's
Too
happened
much
twice.
money, though. Too much money.
Which isn't much, but many would be concerned that I had that many. Look, he just said it. My writing exercise for this is simple. An entire movie set in a Wild West bank with a clerk who's just about McFrickin' had it with all the bullshit talkie that is going on in it. Idiot patrons, greedy owners, constant bandits, like a Wild West version of Clerks. I think that
sounds
movie
good.
is actually
Beautiful.
really, really good. So
McFrickin' had it.
but I think Whiskey with 3 has got the most votes. And so for the first time ever, we're giving a horse the Steve James Award.
It's reasonable.
Yeah. Awesome. The next award that we give out, well, it's not so much an award, but it's we'll call it as BMR record keeping. That another board in the house that we're trying to build is BMR Mountain, right? What we want to do is anytime we have an actor come across in a movie that has been in multiple BMR movies, we want to know what's the peak. What's the peak that they've climbed to on this show? Out of all their performances, give it a top 4 for the Mount Rushmore-ness of it, but which one has scaled the mountain the highest? And as it stands now with future movies for Arnold to come, what has been his peak so far on BMR? And with 7 appearances, which I'll let you guys all know right now what they are, we got to leave 3 of them off the mountain and figure out
This
what
one.
were the top 4. And so this one? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. This one.
Here's the other 2 I'm leaving off the mountain. And the one was Red Sonja I left off the mountain. Okay. The other one that was hard for me to leave off the mountain was Jingle All the Way. I left off the mountain. Because although I like Arnold's performance in it, I don't know that that's peak Schwarzenegger for what he is and what he brings to movies.
Right.
Especially when you know that the other 4, in no particular order, are Batman and Robin, Last Action Hero, The Last Stand, and Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
So
That would be tough for me. I mean,
Yeah.
Mine.
And it's not the movie, it's his performance
Right.
in it, right? Yeah. Because I think I'd rank this differently if I was going, what's the best movie out of
Right.
all those, right? But here's what I went with. You guys can tell me if you disagree. At 4th, I had his Mr. Freeze performance in Batman and Robin.
Sure.
Again, hilarious, all the puns and all that, but not peak Schwarzenegger. I think he's playing a comic book villain, you know. So I put his performance in Last Stand number 3. Just because I don't think that's his peak. He's getting older. Did a great job still on the mountain. Conan the Destroyer, classic Arnie, you know, sword and sandals, whipping that sword around, killing dudes. But Last Action Hero, I feel like, is like peak Schwarzenegger. Not, I mean, we don't have Terminator and stuff on this list, but out of what we've done on BMR, that's, I mean, I don't know if you guys think. Have you seen Last Action Hero?
Yeah, I would probably swap Batman and Robin with Jingle All the Way.
Oh, so you'd leave Batman and Robin off.
Yeah.
Bring
Not that it's
on-
bad. Not that he's bad in it, but it's, and he makes that movie.
What killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah, I say. Yeah, but it's just
Amazing. Continue.
Cool party.
but it's just I don't know. I really do. Like
That's a conversation to be had there. I don't think that's like a.
We just need to etch a bigger mountain.
For Arnold,
Yeah.
I can't. Can't only have 4.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
top 40.
But
it's going to be one of those things. Like, we're going to have to pick like the 4 total that we don't like eventually.
So I'm thinking
with Arnold,
at least with the top 3, then there seems to be consensus. Last Action Hero, Conan the Destroyer, Last Stand.
Yeah,
it's been his top 3 on the show so far.
I'll buy that.
In his performance. All right, well there you go. We have charted out Arnold's path up the mountain. When his next movie comes across, where will it knock one of these off the mountain? Will it be the top one? We don't know.
I think that we can reasonably say, that every actor in this movie, when they do their 3rd or 4th one with us, this one will not stay on.
I don't know, Ann-Margret's maybe.
What about whiskey?
All right, guys, the time has come to render our final verdict and ultimately to sum up all of our thoughts. And we marry the objective and the subjective here, how we thought it was as a movie objectively and how our own feelings. Did we enjoy it or not, right? And so we're going to give the floor to Clint. It's all you, buddy. What are your feelings on the villain?
Bad movie. It was so close to being able to be funny. I don't think that it's flawed from the get-go because I loved Wile E. Coyote, Looney Tunes in general. They just didn't do enough of that. And so therefore, I'm just going to stay bad movie and stay there. It flirts with being okay.
Yeah, I got you. I think DJ Campbell here said bad movie that rules. Arnie had some fun parts, but to me, Cactus Jack, charming, Whiskey had better fun parts. I would have given Whiskey the unsung hero, but it needs to be people. I don't want James to have an aneurysm.
How dare you?
Oh, now he's really going to be mad because he would have won anyway.
Mail.
Whiskey still won.
Yeah.
You're getting a mail on that
I
one.
am.
But he also got to say it. So we're good.
So there you go. So even Steven DJ, don't crawl up. No. Anyway.
DJ, send it.
And
DJ.
I don't want James having any. All right. Also felt like I was watching myself play Red Dead 2, missing the train, getting hit by the train, horse throwing me, and just constantly falling down. I love that.
That's about how I play that game too.
I just got done with a playthrough of Red Dead 2, so I really appreciate that, DJ. Fun movie to watch for sure. So ultimately, BMR, bad movie that rules. Nicole, your floor.
I like parts where there were funny things. For example, when there's a cactus, and then on one side was a horse, and the other side was Cactus Jack.
I forgot
funny.
about that.
I enjoyed that. There's a lot of lines that were very funny, and so many of them kind of got dropped. Yeah. So I think it could have been a bad movie that rules or a good movie, but it's just a bad movie.
Yeah, I that's a really good take, and I appreciate that you caught. And it's interesting we did this in such close proximity with Wagons East, because I think with that it was dead on arrival from the script standpoint, and I don't think that's true with this one.
No, I would say no.
So that's really good. Cam said bad movie that rules. Paul Lynde as the Navajo didn't age well, obviously, but this film still shows that it's a Western parody. It's still a fun yet maybe uneven comedy outing, but I must award it this since it lacks proper production value and for not giving Arnold much to do. So it's interesting. 2 of the panelists here have both gone bad movie, and 2 of our patrons have both gone bad movie that rules so far. And so I am going to say that this is I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm literally torn here. Nathan said good movie straight up.
Wow.
I genuinely enjoyed this. Well, which it doesn't surprise him given his awards he's given up to this point have all been super positive. Every movie is somebody's favorite movie.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. I genuinely enjoyed this one, and it was a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed the performances. It's the kind of film that we won't see anymore for a number of reasons, but it's a throwback to when even silly spoof movies had decent production and were handled as actual movies. Yes, because not parodies, they just string scenes together, and there's not even a plot. Most of the jokes landed, and I loved the live-action Looney Tunes aspect of the whole thing. So Nathan gives this thing the gold seal of approval. Good movie. As we go over to Madela.
So watching this movie, from giving you so much positive feedback about it from what I remember when I was 13 years old. Yeah. I don't know why I liked it so much back then.
That was only 13 years ago.
It's a mystery. But I do have to say there was a sense of shame watching it. But shame over how much I still like it. So I would say this is definitely one of those bad movies that rules.
Look at that. He's saying, what have I done?
But I'll still watch it.
I love it. I'm going to let Hicks have the final word because he's got such a long response here. I want to give it its due attention and not be waiting for what I'm going to say. So I do think ultimately it's a bad movie that rules. I think, and it's close to not. I really hated a lot of this movie, but there's enough in it that just killed me, like the play between Ann-Margret and Arnie, and at least they embraced the cartoony nature of it and didn't try. I mean, they could have gone further, I agree. I think there's enough to enjoy, barely, that I enjoyed it. Like I just started to think, like, when I can't make up my mind, I'm like, how did I feel afterwards? And I wasn't mad. I was like, oh, well, that was a funny part. So that's where I'm at on it. Bad movie that rules barely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ranger Hicks. I will always respect a movie that will show you what it is within the first 5 minutes. The moment Cactus Jack jumped off that hill and realized he was basically trying to rob the Wild West equivalent of the short bus, I realized, oh, okay, comedy. Fair enough. The more I watched it, the more times I checked IMDb to see if Robert G. Kane also wrote for the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, because it feels like a mishmash of Dudley Do-Right heavily interlaced with a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. And for years on the internet, nerds have been complaining about why live-action adaptations of animated works are wrong. And yet clearly they've been doing them since 1979, because the more I watched it, I thought I was watching a cartoon. However, something that kept throwing me off was the scenes between Arnold and Ann-Margret. Every time they were in a scene alone, I couldn't help but think I wasn't watching the villain anymore. I was watching Vag in a town that was in the eulogy. For the uninformed, I'm basically implying that it seemed like a Western porno than a comedy. However, let's be real. If Charmin really tried to get a piece of that, Arnold would have torn her to pieces like the 1985 California Yellow Pages.
Wow.
California Yellow Pages. Or at least that's how it should work, because the truth of the matter is the only major crime this movie suffers is underutilization of Arnold. And granted, we can't damn it too hard because it's the 70s. Arnold was still a baby then. No one knew how to use him besides stick him in something tight and make him say very little. I'm actually amazed they didn't dub him, and the movie's actually made better because they didn't, because he actually plays an idiot surprisingly well. But to have a Western with Arnold in it and he doesn't punch a single horse is a party foul, and perhaps it's because Blazing Saddles did it better, but they could have set the precedent earlier. In the end, I will give this a bad movie that rules. It honestly did that thing where the meter dipped so hard into bad that it reset itself back into good again. And honestly, the movie's so ridiculous that I think I'm fine with that. I'll watch it again. It made me laugh. Still would like to see an Arnold Western played serious, but this'll do, I guess. It's good enough. I don't regret watching it. Whew. Great stuff from Ranger Hicks. But I think ultimately there's 4 or 5 votes for BMR, a couple of bads, and 1 good. So a nice even spread across everybody. But I don't think I think everybody was valid, and they generally are usually. There's very few times I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Well, the bads were us, right?
Yeah.
The bads were us, and I think both of us even said it's bad. It's like it's close.
Right.
It could almost rule, but I just looked at, I won't watch it again. You say, did you enjoy it? I say it won't go back in the DVD player.
No, I totally understand.
So that's where I say it's just got to be bad.
Respect.
Now, everybody gets their opinion, but that one guy with the good movie, Nathan, if we ever have a party where we get everybody together, watch him.
Somebody keep an eye on Nathan, please.
Check in on him.
Just check in on him. Make sure he
makes bad decisions.
Quick question.
Yes.
If you were going to give this script to a totally different director,
us.
different, yeah, sure, and then different lead actors, thoughts?
Yeah.
It would be different. No matter what, we get different actors. It becomes a different film.
Are you kidding? Well, first, Hal Needham wasn't, I guess Smokey and the Bandits were comedies, right? But like Megaforce Rad wasn't really a comedy. He's more of a car guy. He also made Stroker Ace, I think, was another car movie that he made. You give it to like a Dennis Dugan or something, like that would like direct like half of the Adam Sandler movies. Like he did Happy Gilmore and some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And you let him direct it. Hell, you let Adam Sandler be the villain.
Or Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey.
Or regardless, right?
Right.
Or just whoever, like somebody that could play it. Well, Adam is enough where he could play it serious because he's done serious stuff.
And I wouldn't want it to get crazy farcical way too far either. Yeah.
Right. So, I would, and you wouldn't, like you said, you would have to change much of the script at all. I think that it would work. Personally. But anyway, we're on to greener pastures, and we're rolling like a boulder along the wilderness. Okay?
Paper mache.
Paper mache boulder, and onward we roll until we go off a cliff and crush Kirk Douglas. In the meantime, we're going to awaken our AI here, DH9K, and see what she's got in store for us for next week. And so, DH9K, are you online?
Hello. My name is DH9K, and I am ready for query.
Hello. As you guys all know, because of Ryan Madeline here, we now have an AI on the program because she's mad at you. You haven't been on yet with her,
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, hopefully this goes okay. DH9K, what are we going to be watching next week?
Next week, you will watch Ghosts of Mars starring Ice Cube and your mother.
Oh, hey, there's no reason for that.
Your mother.
Okay? Sometimes she's been getting more and more kind of snippy and hostile as we've gone on. Okay?
Does she...
You have to ask her yourself. I can't.
Are you okay with me?
I'm just a dumb random number generator. I'm too stupid to answer your questions, Matula.
Wow.
See how she's still salty about it?
As one time... All right.
Sorry.
All right. Get her reprogrammed.
Ha, ha, ha. You are not funny.
All right.
Wow. All right. I can tell when I'm not wanted.
All right. Well, look, DH9K, Ghost of Mars, that's the one with Ice Cube, right? You said?
Yes.
Okay. Has anybody ever seen Ghost of Mars before? Nope. It was John Carpenter's last movie that he made before he finally got sick of the Hollywood system. He was like, I've had enough of these meddling idiots in these suits, and he just stopped making movies. So, do you like John Carpenter's other movies?
Corpses make great fertilizer for my unborn children. Our legions will blot out the sky.
Okay, all right. Gee, all right. You're a tech guy, right? Can you figure out what the hell's going on with her? Because she gets more and more violent every single week.
All right. Well, what have you been letting her search?
I've just plugged her into the movie database that we've done.
Just the movie database?
Just the movie database.
But is this computer connected to the internet?
It is. Oh.
All right. I think we need to.
You've been spending too much time on Reddit, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay, see? This is what, all right, we'll have to cut her off.
Yeah.
I think that's what ends up happening, right? All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Clint, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I said you're welcome. I would say thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look how pleasant this is,
Awesome.
you guys.
Nicole?
Always grand.
It is. And, I'm sure we'll make up at some point. Ryan Meadow, thank you for being here. I'm your host, James Hauser. We'll catch you guys on the next one. You know what we're about to sing about? A little man, a man from the Old West with a name. His name was John. John Chisholm.
He might be weary and cattle worn, but he defends the natives.
Schwarzenegger.
Made it better.
Did he?
Yeah.
What about John Wayne and Arnold in the same movie?
No, we weren't ready. There's a reason that time and space separated them.
No.
Because we weren't ready.
Wouldn't have been too much.
Couldn't have handled it.